Let's do this. I think we should be live. Let me just double check that I've got everything all good. Just kind of messing around with the volume a little bit. You know how it goes, right? But we are here, right? It is the first stream of the new year, first stream of 2025. Been pretty nice first 2 days so far, right? First video of the year just came out. If you haven't checked it out, go check it out at some point. Just a little shameless self promo. But as promised, at long last, we are finally going to be doing the quarterback ranking quiz, as well as a few other things, and maybe an announcement or two that I was kind of teasing throughout the previous week or two. Yeah, if you saw my community post, you might have seen some exciting stuff is coming. If you tuned into my stream on Sunday, you might have heard about some exciting stuff coming. We'll get to that in here in a little bit. It's kind of weird. This is the first stream I've done in a while where there's no NFL games going on. There's no like pregame aspect of it, right? This isn't a Sunday morning. I'm not getting us ready for the games here. But I just wanted to go live, just hang out, chill with you guys for a little bit. We'll play some games. We'll do the quarterback ranking quiz, and I'll show you something. But it's nice to just kind of settle back in, get started for the new year. The year of the doc is what I'm calling it, right? The year of the doc, that's 2025. Think it's going to be a pretty good year. I'm pretty fired up for it. And look at that. We've already got some people filing in, right? You guys know the drill. If you're in here, feel free to say hello in chat. We've already got Caden, Kiercat, and Pearchamp in here. How you guys doing? Good to see you in here. Caden saying, what a thumbnail, doc. Rumor has it the people want more. Yeah, my first soy face, right? I couldn't help myself. I don't know. I thought it was so funny, right? And that's like the YouTube thumbnail cliche right now is like making some sort of overly expressive face to like convey some sort of emotion, right? Like, Caleb Williams or Sam Darnold, which I won't lie. I've got the quiz pulled up on my big screen right now. We'll switch to that in a second here, but that is the first one of the quiz. I just took a screenshot of that, and then I just like took a little selfie of myself going like, like I'm like super deep in thought. I thought about putting some question mark graphics up there, but it didn't look as good. I don't know. It was hard to make it work. And I was like, this is a pretty low effort thumbnail, but I'm trying, I'm trying to get like a thumbnail for every stream now. I've got the game stream template. I've got the pigskin pregame template, but you know how it be, right? Thumbnail business. But Kier Cat's saying we're back. We are back. It's good to have you back in here, right? Hey, big game for your Broncos here on Sunday, right? Pretty fired up for that one. Some intrigue, let's see what Carson Wentz has got, and let's see what the Broncos got. Can the Broncos get in? Man, they're kind of a sneaky team, right? People may be counting them out a little bit, right? Everyone's like, oh, the Bengals. And even I myself said, oh, it'd be sick if the Bengals got in. I tell you what, though, I don't know, man. They're a tough matchup. That defense is so legit, and Sean Payton is great. And we'll get to Bo Nix, right? The line is good, right? I mean, they're a good team. They are a really good team. They are. If I was the Bills, I'd be at least a little bit scared if I had to play them. But we got Pearchamp in here saying, hey, Doc, how are you doing? I'm doing pretty good, man. How about you? It's Thursday, right? It's a bit of a weird Thursday. It kind of felt like a Monday today. Today was my first day, I say back at work. I got one day off, but it's back at work today. But it's kind of nice because like, oh, it feels like a Monday, but tomorrow's Friday. So, and my parents are in town, which is pretty cool. So had dinner with them today, saw them yesterday too. We'll be seeing them this weekend. So that's pretty nice. They came down and visited me, which is really awesome. So get to see my family some, but I was like, sorry, mom and dad, I got to go home and stream, but no, they get it. They get it. And I'm getting to see them plenty this week, which is really nice. But yeah, man, life's been good right now. I can't complain. We got Ryan Asti in here saying, hey, Tampa Bay. Speaking of a team that no one wants to play. Hey, Tampa Bay. Whoo, man. Yeah. There's a lot of good teams in the playoffs. I know, like, okay, like whatever, they're in the playoffs, but like there could be some upsets. There could be some dark horse runs. I mean, Tampa's one of those teams, but we got Henry in here saying, evening, Doc. Congrats on the new video. Appreciate it, man. Thank you. I really liked your comment there earlier. Good to have you back in here. Recovering from that devastating Sugar Bowl loss. Yeah, that was tough, man. I was watching that game. I missed like the first hour of it. I was at work, but had it on at my parents' Airbnb. We were eating some pork tenderloin and some apple pie watching the game. Yeah, man, just some killer mistakes, right? I mean, giving up a touchdown on the second half kickoff, right? Turnover in your own red zone on a strip sack. I mean, jumping off sides when they do that whole like mass substitution baloney, right? It's like, dog, like, I don't know, just a lot of bad like mental lapses, and like you don't want to like make too many excuses because Notre Dame had to deal with this too. But like you had to wait an extra day to play, and after what happened yesterday, like I don't know, it was just a cursed game all around, right? But yeah, that was tough. That was tough. I guess you can't win it all every year, but. Kira Cat saying 9 years, and we're finally hopefully going to be back. I know, it's crazy, right? Like last time the Broncos were in the playoffs, last time they played in a playoff game was the Super Bowl. I mean, it's hard to believe, right? It's crazy, but Parent Chap says he's doing all right. Great video. Thank you. Dropped a comment on it. Essentially also agree with going for it. Appreciate it. Yeah, I saw your comment. I'll have to type up a response for it later, but I appreciate all your comments. Seriously. I mean, it means so much to me. It makes me so happy seeing you guys enjoy that kind of stuff. Yeah, that was awesome. Ryan Nasty saying, yes, feels like a Monday. It's Thursday, but I'm doing work from Tuesday all the days. Yeah, I know, right? Just a funky week. Just a funky week all around. But yeah, I don't know what to say, man. Let's take this quiz. So we're going to do the quarterback ranking quiz, right? That is the classic. Actually, before we do that, speaking of Henry, I actually want to pull up my quiz results. I took this quiz back in the summer. I took it. Fun story. The last time I took this quiz to completion and like had like the whole rankings to completion is crazy. The last time I did this quiz all the way through and got the rankings was in the summer. This is the wrong Dr. Pigskin account. How am I signed into the wrong Dr. Pigskin account? I'm trying to pull up my Twitter right now. Oh, there we go. But I took it, and I'll eventually get to my point. It's not loading. How do I do this? But this was back in May. This was actually on our way back from New Orleans. It was my friend James's bachelor party, and we took a day trip to New Orleans. We had a long car ride back. I was like, screw it, I'm going to take this quiz. And I posted my results on Twitter, and I just want to go revisit them before we dive in and see like what has aged well, what has not aged well, right? Because I think it was Pearchamp. I think it was you. It was like, I'd love for you to like take it again and see like what has changed in like this season, right? Okay, it's not loading. All right, maybe we won't. That's a shame. That's okay. It doesn't make or break this night, right? Here, I'll just show you my screen. Not that. Also not that. It's doing the thing again. We're going to do this. Now you see me. Holy crap. Okay, there we go. Yeah, something went wrong. My account is suspended. No, it's not. It's not suspended. Hold on. Whatever. Anyways, we won't look at the past results. What a mess. Not a mess. It's just kind of amusing. But yeah, we'll dive into this in a sec. We'll catch up with chat here. We got 14 people in here right now. Let's go. We might have some new people in here. They're like, what is this dude on right now? He's all over the place. Welcome if you're new, by the way. It's good to have you in here. I promise I'm not that weird. Well, maybe, but Henry saying, can't believe 2015 was 10 years ago. Yeah, I mean, that is kind of crazy, right? Like, shouldn't 2015 be 5 years ago still, right? Like, surely it wasn't that long ago that I was in high school, right? Like, yeah. I'm starting to get a little washed. Not really, but right, Nasty. I love to completion. We got Sebastian in here. Let's go. Welcome to the stream, Sebastian. Saying, good evening, Mr. Skin, and love the new profile pic. Thank you. Shout out to the homie. Rhett. That is, I don't know if you'd call him my cousin-in-law, but that is the husband of one of my cousins. Also someone I like to consider a good friend. But literally out of the blue, I see a text from him this morning. He is like, hey, like I was just bored, like working on these sketches. What do you think, right? Just like, I just out of nowhere, unsolicited, had not asked him for anything. This dude drew up sketches for like a Dr. Pigskin profile pic. And I was like, dude, that's so sick. And so then today, like legitimately minutes before I went live, he sent me the finished result. And I was like, dude, that's so sick. I mean, even like the clothing he's wearing is Vikings colors. I'm like, this is so sweet. So yeah, new profile pic for Dr. Pigskin. Yeah, rocking the mohawk and the sunglasses. Yeah, it's awesome. So that is the new profile pic. But thank you, Sebastian. Glad you like it. That was not me, though. I cannot take any of the credit. That was all Red. I don't know if he's watching right now, but he is a subscriber. So let's go. We got Jack in here too. Jack Gothberg saying, "Bro, get out of my room." Yeah, I saw you left that comment on my video too. I was like, Kenny the man. But then when I went on the computer and I went into the YouTube Studio website, it showed your name. I was like, oh, Kenny the man, Kenny Pickett. It's like, what is he talking about in his room? But I guess this is your room. You and Moose. All right. So let's just jump into this, right? A lot of you guys might be familiar with this. You might have even seen me do this before. This is pretty straightforward, right? This is the quarterback ranking quiz. Shout out Stay Hot, a sports podcast. All you do is just pick the quarterback that you think is better, right? Just pick the quarterback you think is better. Here's your progress bar up here. And eventually at the end, it will spit out a list of your top quarterbacks ranked in order based off of how you pick in this quiz, right? So I did this around this time last year, and it went on pretty long. I don't know if I'm going to spend 3 hours on it this time, right? Because, man, I gave a whole 20-minute spiel for each quarterback. And obviously I'm going to give my takes on these guys, right? But we'll see. I'll be as thorough as I need to be. I mean, a lot of you guys have been watching me all season long, right? You might know my takes on some of these guys at this point. But we're going to have some good conversations. You guys are always... Just feel free to put your input in here too, right? This is a live stream. There's going to be some back and forth, but let's just get started, right? Here's a good example, right? Let's just start off the bat. This was the thumbnail one. I just took a screenshot of this. Caleb Williams or Sam Darnold? Who do I think is better at football, right? And we'll try and do like the whole, well, considering situations and all that stuff. Who do I think is better at football? Honestly, this one I'm kind of struggling with a little bit. And I've thought about this a little bit because I've been staring at this one for a while. Caleb Williams or Sam Darnold? Caleb has been a bit of a disappointment. I will give you that. And I was a big Caleb believer. I mean, he was my rookie of the year pick, right? Everyone thought he was going to be great. Best situation for a first overall pick ever, right? Some of that hasn't quite held true. And then Sam Darnold, the big surprise. I'm not going to lie. I'm tempted to go Sam Darnold here. Again, maybe easy for me to say, given what's hung up on my wall, right? Easy for the Vikings fan to say. I honestly think, I don't know, man. Both of them, their biggest problem is they kind of hold on to the ball a little bit too long, right? Caleb and Sam both kind of like to play make and just chuck the ball downfield a little bit. Sam is a little bit more seasoned. Caleb is definitely more talented, and you see a flash or two every game, right? And he's even had a few games that have been really good. I think about that first game against the Vikings, dang, Caleb is good. I honestly think I am going to go Sam though. I think Sam Darnold might end up fairly high on this. I'm actually quite high on Sam Darnold. I'm really starting to think man, we got to keep him. I mean, if you watched my stream on Sunday, I felt like half the time I was saying, you can't go away from this. I think you got to stick with Sam. He has been playing excellent football. This is not just KOC. This is not just him closing his eyes and throwing it to Jefferson and praying that he'll catch it. That touchdown to Jefferson against the Seahawks, nah, that's just a sick throw, right? That touchdown to Addison against the Packers on Sunday, nah, dude, that's just a sick throw. His pocket movement has been nice. I mean, all of his aggressive decisions are finally getting rewarded in a good offense now. And the talent that we saw coming out of USC, the talent that made him the 3rd overall pick, it took a while, but it is really starting to come to fruition. I think he's an excellent quarterback. Excellent's a bit strong. I think he's a good quarterback. How about that? But Green Gandalf's in here. Welcome to the stream, Green Gandalf. Good to have you in here. Saying Sam is the obvious choice. Sebastian agreeing with him. Gandalf saying playing top 10 football. Caleb isn't even playing top 20. Yeah. And again, you like to think some of it he'll even out. He has kind of missed on some of his deep throws too. It's just been a weird year for him. I feel like the first half of the season, he was almost trying too hard to be a pocket passer, right? I can win from the pocket. And now, I don't know, he's trying too much to, just run around and chuck it deep. So there's very little balance right now. Maybe some better line play, better coaching will help. But some of it is on him, too. Some of these sacks have been on him. So, but that's Darnold's biggest issue, too, I would say. Darnold does take maybe a few too many sacks for my liking. But what can you do? What can you really do, right? Sebastian saying, I feel like Caleb is getting into Donovan McNabb territory where he just gets hated on for the absolute dumbest reasons imaginable. Oh, yeah. I mean, it is hard to have an honest conversation about Caleb Williams, right? You will hear some wild things said about him, right? But if we're just going to be just straight up quarterback play, he probably hasn't been quite as good as he should be. But, that's fair. But Henry's agreeing, probably Darnold, but no way you wouldn't rather have Caleb as your franchise QB long term. Oh, absolutely not. No, absolutely not. Pearchamp is curious, how much am I evaluating the quarterbacks based on their performance of this year, their extended career, and the potential of younger players to succeed? The way I'm doing it, I suppose I should have explained this. The way I'm doing it is right now. I've got a game tomorrow. Who would I rather have my quarterback be? That's pretty much it, right? Just as I always like to say, I'm on recess. I'm at recess on the playground, right? Like, who would I pick if I had to pick between those two guys? I mean, you can give like extra credit, like, oh, Caleb will be better. Like, I might pick against some guys, and that's not like, oh, I think he sucks, but just like straight up right now, who would I rather have? But that's a fair point. I should have clarified that, but I'm with you, Sebastian. Now we need to feed Jefferson. Just get him the ball. But we got a Sean in here. Welcome to the stream, Sean. Good to have you in here. Saying the only argument for Caleb is that if you swap these two, would Sam succeed? Probably not quite as much. No, that's absolutely fair to say. Probably not quite as much. I don't know. It would probably look similar to what Caleb is doing right now. Similar, but mile markers in here too. Appreciate the love. Ryan Assey saying, I've even mentioned last stream, what would it take for Donald to stay next year, especially with all he's done so far this year? I think he's going to stay. I think we'll bring him back. I really hope so. But all right, next one, Dak Prescott, Justin Herbert. I love Dak Prescott. I really do. Like, I will go to war for that man. I don't know what it is. I just love the way he plays the game, right? He's the Cowboys quarterback, so he gets a lot of flack. I think he's an excellent thrower of the football. When he gets in his bag and he just turns up the playmaking dial just a little bit, I think he's such a good quarterback. He's such a fun quarterback. I think Herbert's better. I don't know. He's been the ultimate not his fault guy, right? Now I've had some fun with it, but dude, I mean, every once in a while, you just get a full glimpse of like who he truly is as a quarterback, right? I really think he's this generation's Matthew Stafford. You think about like that game against the Bengals where you're reminded like just how crazy of an athlete he is. We know about the arm. I think he sees the field really well. I might say Justin Herbert is a top 5 quarterback, honestly. I know sometimes you have to deal with like hypotheticals and you can play his receivers sell him game, but also it's kind of true. I mean, even now, Ladd is his only good receiver, and he's playing some excellent football. I know I've had my fun with Herbert in the past, but yeah, he's elite, dude. Oh my goodness. And again, when he's similar to Dak, right? Just he's played a little bit looser this year, right? It feels like he's just less tight. He's more relaxed. You can kind of see his character come out a little bit more. And that's like trickled down for how he plays. You see him run around a little bit more. He's a joy to watch, man. I love Herbert. Yeah, I've come around. Pearchamp found my results from May. Do you want me to just list your results in chat? That would be sick. I would appreciate that so much. That's awesome that you're able to pull that up. If you're willing to do that, I know that might take a lot of typing, but if you're willing to do that, that would be sick. I appreciate it. Sebastian saying Caleb is knocking on the door, 4,000 passing yards. Oh, he needs 607. Yeah, probably not. Probably not. He'd need to break a record, but Dak is too much Jekyll and Hyde. Yeah, I will say this year was a little bit more up and down, and he's been injured, which has maybe saved him from like playing on a mediocre Cowboys team a little bit. Yeah, so that's fair. White Mamba's in here. Welcome to the stream, White Mamba. Good to have you in here saying if Dak wasn't the Cowboys quarterback, he wouldn't be nearly as hated as he is. Oh, absolutely right. I mean, just ask Skip Bayless. Sorry. I don't know. Anyways. That was crazy. If you know what I'm talking about with Skip Bayless. Oh, he's not a leader. That is probably one of the worst Skip takes of all time, but I'm with you, Green Gandalf. We got Gabe in here too. Welcome to the stream, Gabe. Good to have you in here saying thoughts on Thursdays. Underrated day, right? It's Friday Junior, you just feel like, man, we got one day of work left, right? And then it's the weekend. During football season, you got Thursday night football. I think Thursday is a very underrated day. I would say it's a top half day. It's in the top half of days. Maybe not. I don't know. Sunday is pretty nice though. It's the best non-weekend day if you count Friday as a weekend. Let's move on to the next one here. Jaden Daniels or Jalen Hurts. This is honestly a tough one, and I think I might lean Daniels. Man, this has been one of my biggest whiffs ever, honestly, especially since I became Dr. Pigskin or whatever and started posting content online. Not that that really means anything, right? But in the past few years that I've been doing this channel, Jaden Daniels might be my biggest whiff as like evaluating a player. I'm not going to lie. I didn't think this was going to work in the NFL. I didn't think his style of play was going to translate. I didn't think the offense that he and Cliff Kingsbury were going to run was going to translate. I was like, oh, he doesn't throw over the middle of the field. Oh, he didn't get pressured much at college. And when he did, he just tucked it and ran. Oh, he might not be as good of a runner because he's skinny. Dude, straight up, none of that has mattered. Like, it just hasn't mattered. The offense has translated. He has been a good runner. And he's just so stinking accurate. Like, he throws such a nice ball. He and Terry's connection is so good. I whiffed on Jaden Daniels so hard. He is such an exciting player. He's such a fresh breath of air for this Commanders franchise. Yeah, I respect the heck out of him now, man. I mean, yeah, he's proved me wrong in one season. He is a great player. Hurts is all right, and he's been a little better against the blitz this year, right? That was his big thing. Oh, Jalen Hurts struggles against the blitz, right? And he's an all right thrower. I think Jaden Daniels does most things better than Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is maybe a bit more powerful of a runner. Daniels is harder to bring down. Daniels is harder to catch. Daniels is more accurate. I don't know. I'm going to go Jaden Daniels. I really am. It's not that I think Hurts is terrible, but I don't know, man. I mean, if you put Jaden Daniels on the Eagles, goodness gracious. You give him A.J. Brown and Devontae in that offensive line. Whoo-hoo. Yeah, and Saquon in the backfield. Yeah, I'll go Daniels. We got Ben Bauer in here. Welcome to the stream, Ben. Good to have you in here. Saying Dak and Kyler are kind of weird to rank for me. I'm a Packers fan, and they both always seem to suck versus the Packers specifically. Oh, yeah, right? I mean, the Cowboys just get owned by the Packers constantly. And, yeah, you think about that Thursday night game when the Cardinals were undefeated. Kyler threw that pick to Rasul to kind of end the game. Yeah, they are good quarterbacks, but they're just not quite there, right? They're just not quite there. Sebastian saying, is it a stretch to say Daniels is greater than Hurts already? Nah, I'm with you. I get it's a little scary, right? This is his rookie year. And there was a part of me, even during the season, where it's like, well, the Commanders have like the most efficient offense ever. And Jaden Daniels is completing like 75% of his passes. Like, that probably won't sustain. But I think the big thing for me was like, it kind of didn't, right? They did hit a bit of a rut like in late November. And it was like, oh, here comes the Cliff Kingsbury fall off cliff, right? And oh, they had like a bad game or two. They bounced back. They adapted, right? I would say like the past few weeks has been like maybe Daniel's best football this season. He was awesome against the Eagles. First half against the Falcons, he was all right. Second half, he was just nails, right? I mean, down the stretch in these important games and these big games against teams competing for the playoffs, like, yeah, Daniels has been legit. He's been good. Plus, you could argue Hurts is a brotherly shove merchant. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, come on. Yeah. We got Wolf in here, too. Welcome to the stream, Wolf. Appreciate it. Good to have you in here. Gabe saying Baker or Derek Doctor, the real decision starts now. Come on, bro. I mean, hey, Derek Carr's not like the worst quarterback ever. Baker's been really good this year, man. I mean, what else is there to say? I voted him for the Pro Bowl a few weeks ago, right? I mean, it's ridiculous. The dude has 39 touchdowns, and I get maybe you can be like, well, Liam Cohen and this, like, yes, but also they've been without Evans and Godwin for most of the year, right? If you protect him just a little bit, I don't know, man. He can make some tough throws. He's got some good throws in his bag. He's an underrated athlete. Like, he can move around a little bit. Yeah, it's got to be Baker. Easily, I think. I mean, he's got to be the best quarterback in the division, right? I'm thinking, yeah. I mean, it's Baker, it's Carr, it's Bryce, or Penix, or Kirk. Baker's easily the best quarterback in that division. And that Tampa offense, man, they're scary right now. They're scary. Thoughts on Jerry Jeudy Pro Bowl? Good for him, man. He earned it. He had a good year this year, right? Cool to see him finally play up to his potential, And it's got to be nice as a Browns fan, right? You got something to hang your hat on. So good for Jerry Jeudy. That game against the Broncos was so awesome. That was an all-timer of a revenge game. Sebastian's on the fence because we've seen guys like Stroud have big second-year slumps. That's fair, and we'll get there when we get there. That's understandable, though, right? Progression isn't linear. It's not like, well, Jaden Daniels had this many yards this year. Think of how many yards he'll have in year 2, But I've seen enough where it's like, man, he looks like a good player. Real hard-hitting analysis right there, but he just looks like a good player. Ryan Asti, oh, yeah, I know you're going Baker. I mean, everyone has to, right? Steve Smith somewhere. All right. Penix or Geno? Gotta be Geno. I am really high on Geno. I think he's one of those guys like, And I say this, like, he has good passing yards this year, but like, I think he's much better than some of his stats would indicate. You can point to his touchdown to interception ratio. Yeah, maybe he turns the ball over a little bit, but I like aggressive quarterbacks, especially when the aggression is warranted, right? Geno can make some really, really tough throws, and oftentimes he'll hit them. Every once in a while, he'll get into trouble and throw a pick, and I get it. I don't know, man. I see so many Seahawks fans that want to move on from him. I just don't get it, especially after watching Sam Howell come in for like a half against the Packers. That line is just so bad. It's got to be Geno. I think it's Geno pretty easily. Penix has at least been intriguing, but he looks raw right now, right? He looks like a rookie. You know, some mechanical issues. Theo Ash, who's up here, right, might follow him on Twitter or something, but he posted a video just like he's a lefty, but his feet are pointing right, you know, like leads to some inaccurate balls. He has thrown a lot of uncatchable passes. You can pull up the charts, or you can just look at how he played against the Commanders. That touchdown to Pitts was pretty sick, though. That was a sick throw to Pitts on 4th down for the touchdown. But you can see some of the exciting stuff, but he's just not there yet. You know, he's very raw. I can see why the Falcons waited until the last possible second to put him in over Kirk. He just needs a little bit more work, maybe. It's got to be Geno. Geno might sneak into the top 10 for me. We'll see. Geno Smith, not enough on Penix. Let's see. White Mamba saying Derek Carr is a good loser. He's a good NFL quarterback, but he's great at losing. You're not wrong. Only quarterback in NFL history to lose to all 31 other teams at least once. That is crazy. Eshawn loving the Geno. Maybe. It could be a Geno. Purdy or Aiden O'Connell. All right, we don't need to spend too much time on this one. Or this one. Shout out Bryce. I mean, hey, it's good to see Bryce like succeeding, you know. It's good to see him smile, man, as silly as that might sound. You know, here's my Bryce take. It's a shame that they changed the criteria for comeback player of the year. And I say this as someone who, like, the quarterback of my favorite team, Sam Darnold, would be a great candidate. A Bryce Young comeback player of the year award would have been so sick, man. Because he came back from this year too. Like, he was bad the first few weeks. They just sat him down, took a little bit of a breather. The offense is looking better. You can't take a quarterback if you're the Panthers. Hammer defense, and you might have something on offense. It makes me so happy to see Bryce succeed. That being said, it's Mahomes. It's Mahomes. But 22 people. Wow, we're really building a community. We are. That makes me happy. That does really make me happy. You know, we got people chatting in here, right? Yeah, it's like a nice little family. I love it. The Dr. Pigskin family. More on that in a little bit. But Sebastian saying, going back to the sample size thing, I feel like Penix is disqualified just because he's played 2 games so far. I know it's harsh, right? And if I'm not mistaken, JJ McCarthy is going to show up on here too. I don't even know what to do with him, right? It is tough, but it is what it is for right now. Like, Penix is going to come in low, fair or not. If Penix comes in at like 33, that doesn't mean like, well, he's just not cut out to be in this league. You know, it's just, this is where I'm going off what I'm seeing so far. It's tough though, right? Pirate Champs posting the rankings right now. I love that. Y'all can have some fun with that. Those were for those that might have missed it, what Pirate Champ is posting in chat right now is my rankings from when I did this quiz back in May. So like after the draft, after the offseason, going into the season. That's how I felt. Some movers and some shakers. I feel like the top will remain very stable. Hey, I feel vindicated with some of these that I'm seeing right now. I feel a little vindicated, but crazy uncle talking about the Pirates. The god Bryce Young is Froderick Mahomes' father. All right, Tua or May? Dare I say May? I don't know. I've always been a little bit lower on Tua. Here, and I get he got injured this year, and then the Dolphins' offense took a bit of a nosedive. I think that kind of has to maybe do a little bit with just that is how it was built, you know? I mean, that is just, I don't know. Mike McDaniel designed an offense specifically for Tua and pretty much no one else. And so, yeah, when you put in Tyler Huntley, it's not going to look very good. Although it looked all right last week, right? But he's not bad by any means. You know, again, there's a few things he does very well, right? Throws with timing, he's accurate, and he can run that offense pretty well. But again, I think I used this analogy last year, and I stole this from The Ringer, whatever, right? But when they did a write-up on the Dolphins offense, it's like, it's a supercomputer, but as soon as you get a single grain of sand in the computer, it breaks, right? That's the problem. I don't know. And I'm not trying to be too harsh on the guy. He seems like a nice enough guy, right? But Drake May on a bad Patriots offense impresses me every week. And again, he might throw an interception or two, right? He still might sail a pass or two, but he's such a good athlete. He's so mobile, and that raises his floor. And man, he can hit some nice throws. I don't know, man. He's doing better than I thought he would on a bad offense. I'm really high on Drake May. I won't quite call him the best rookie yet just because Daniels has looked so good. I think he's right there, though. I'm super high on Drake May. All right, the cat's out of the bag. Look at that. People have discovered it already. I actually set it up a while ago. I'll show you guys around once I'm done with this. The cat is out of the bag, though. Yes, at long last, after some requests, people been asking for it, it's time. Yes, I made a Discord server. I made the Dr. Pigskin Family Discord server. Some of you guys that have already found it, yeah, feel free to go ahead and join. But I'll pull it up and I'll show you guys later. But yes, I did make a Discord server. If you guys are into that kind of thing, feel free to join. But yeah, look at that. You guys have found it. That's awesome. I suppose it's probably in my link tree, right? Yeah. But, all right. Say it ain't so, Mr. Skin. Wolf saying, I remember drafting Sam Darnold as a joke in the last round of my fantasy draft. Should have kept him because it led me to trading away Bijan looking for a QB for CJ Stroud. Oh, that's tough. That's tough. White Mamba saying Tua is great when he's playing in 70-degree weather in Miami against a team with a losing record, but he's terrible against a team with a winning record on the road in the cold. Oh, yeah. I mean, we've seen this story so many times, right? Yeah. Go for it, Wolf. Absolutely. Yeah, go for it. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. And we'll see what happens if the Dolphins do get into the playoffs. We'll see what happens. If there's any Dolphins fans watching right now. Sorry. But Anthony Richardson or Jordan Love. Oh, these are my two QBs in my dynasty league. Oh, Anthony Richardson. Yeah, I saw the Athletic article today about the inner turmoil in the Colts, and I get why like so many players are upset that he took himself out of the game, right? It isn't a good look. I totally get it. Yeah, you wonder if maybe this marriage is going to be over quicker than we thought. It's such a shame, man. I've been on the train for so much, and maybe it's my fault for being too traits pilled, right? It's like, ooh, big guy is strong and fast and throws the ball far. But man, I think the thing that bummed me out is like, I also thought, you know what? He managed the pocket pretty well, and he avoids sacks pretty well, and I think he gets through his reads pretty well. But goodness gracious, his accuracy, it's bad enough where like it might kill his career. It really is such a shame, right? Like, oh, if he can fix his accuracy, he'll be so good. The problem is, though, if he doesn't, like, it will be over for him, right? I mean, dog, his completion percentage starts with a 4, right? Let's look this up. But I'm pretty sure, I mean, come on, man, you know, like, and I can do the whole, well, the Colts are dropping his passes and stuff. There is a little bit of that, but also he's got to do himself some favors, right? Yeah, he's completing 47.4% of his passes. Like that's just not an NFL number. I love Richardson. I'm still not selling all my stocks yet, right? I'm going to hold strong for just one more year. I probably won't be quite as annoying about it. I'm not completely out on him yet, but I am significantly lower on him now than I was back in May. That's for sure. It's love all the way. And you know what? I'll pat myself on the back here because sometimes I whiff, right? Got my mouse over Richardson right now. Whiffed on this guy, right? You know, I had some fun debates with some of my friends over Jordan Love this summer. And it's so funny, right? Because I'm a Vikings fan and I'm like, no, like Jordan Love is so good. Like, yes, it was only 8 or 9 games, but dude, like the stuff that he did was not a fluke. Like, I get why the Packers paid him. He's such a good player. I don't know, man. I'm really high on Jordan Love. Yes, there's the interceptions, but you might notice this throughout this quiz. Interceptions don't bug me as much if you have a really talented arm and you've shown that you can make some of those throws, right? Yes, Jordan Love will chuck it downfield sometimes, and occasionally he gets into trouble. But you know what? Like, 8 out of 10 times, he'll hit it. The 2 times he might throw a pick, but those other 8 times, man, he'll hit the throw, and it's like, man, like that's just, there's not a lot of guys that can do that. And I didn't shut up about this on Sunday, but he is so good at avoiding sacks, right? Sacks are a quarterback stat. It's not just on the offensive line, right? It's on you to get the ball out quick. It's on you to go through your reads. It's on you to feel the pocket and evade pressure and know when to take off and run. He is legitimately like the least sacked quarterback in the league. Yes, the Packers have a good line, but a lot of that is on him. He does a great job of avoiding negative plays. And I think, I thought about this today. The Packers situation is pretty good. Like, I love LaFleur as a coach. They've got a deep receiver room, but they don't have like a true number one, which is what you'd think someone like Love would want, right? Love wants to hit those big plays and test the defense downfield and like have a guy to throw it up to, right? Like, even if he had like T. Higgins, dude, I think that like his production would be even better. And I don't know. I would not be surprised if Jordan Love ended up at like 7 on this. I'm being so for real. I think he's so good, dude. I really do. But Wolf saying having a bad injury, then going in with a decent enough sample size for a sophomore slump, talking about Richardson. Yeah, that was tough. Parachamp saying Jordan Love has not quite been himself. I think that injury earlier on this season did limit him this year. Oh, maybe you're talking about Love. Yeah, and I will say, like, his game against the Vikings wasn't his best showing, right? But, like, dude, I thought he was so good against Seattle. Like, he's had some great games this year. But, yeah, the injury was tough. I'm still high on him, though. Modern day Cordell Stewart. That's a sick comp right there. I love that. That's a pull right there. Slash was his nickname. Slash. Because he played a bunch of different positions. So he's at quarterback / wide receiver / tight end, 90s Steelers player right there. But Cordell Stewart, that's awesome. Henry asking, what would be the ideal situation for Richardson in the league? That's crazy, right? Because honestly, like, the Colts would have been up there with Shane Steichen as their play caller, schemer, whatever, right? A good offensive line. You've got someone like Josh Downs that can run really well down the seam, down the middle, right? And then you've got Jonathan Taylor in the backfield. Like, honestly, the Colts would have been up there, And like, oh, you got Pittman on the slants for the RPOs and stuff. Like, and that's why I was like so excited for him. I was like, dude, this offense is perfect for him. I don't know. I mean, like the Eagles, but again, the Eagles would be a good situation for everyone. I saw Brett Coleman tweet out something about the Rams today. I struggle to see him in a McVay offense. And I know like the scheme that McVay runs these days is pretty different from like all the other Shanahan guys. And McVay has kind of seemed to like soft launch a mobile quarterback. Like, remember, was it Bryce Underwood? Is that his name? Like he would try some like designed QB runs and stuff like that, but I don't know. I don't know about that. I mean, it's probably the Eagles, but he would never play over Hurts, right? I guess like realistically, like where would I want him to like go and sit? I'm gonna have to think about that for a sec. Because, like, well, no, he doesn't need to sit, though. He needs reps. That's the thing. Is that he needs reps. I don't even know, man. Because I feel like the Colts might not get rid of him, but the Browns, I don't know. That's not terrible. Put him with Stefanski, maybe. I don't know. In a vacuum, the Cardinals would be a good one, too, right? I'm trying to think of a team with like a good running game and like good like vertical threats down the seam. Like, oh, him hitting seam routes to Trey McBride. That would be pretty sick. But yeah, the Raiders. Okay, you know what? Yeah, and we'll see like who they bring in. I wouldn't want them with Luke Getsy. That's what I'll say. That's their OC. Oh, but him and Bowers. Okay. You know what? Maybe the Raiders. Their line isn't awful. But got some Devontae to the Packers rumors. Make an edit. Packers don't want a vet wide receiver. They might aim for another one, 26-27. Need to work on the defense first. Yeah, that's fair. Shore up the secondary a little bit maybe. And pass rush. That's been a little disappointing this year. Was that summoning salt music I hear in the 4th down video? Dude, if it is, I'm not going to lie. That was unintentional. I've never watched Summoning Salt like that before. And I know of him, right? Like he does like these super cool speed running videos, right? Like documentaries kind of. I've actually never really watched him before. It's always seemed like something that might be up my alley a little bit. If it is, that was unintentional, but I'll take it. I always try and go for that type of like Summoning Salt, John Boy's type of vibe with my music. Just, fun little bops that are not copyrighted, but yeah, it's not going to be a W for Jameis. This is Kyler. I don't know, man. Jameis is an interesting experience. We know who he is. We know who Kyler is too, though. He's just never quite fully put it together, man. And we could do the whole, it was Cliff for a while. I don't know. He's kind of a frustrating player because there's a good football player in them, but maybe he is just like a streaky guy. Like, I honestly think like he and Baker Mayfield are kind of similar, which would have been crazy to say just a few years ago, but I think they're in that same tier. I really do. Yeah, but we'll go with Kyler here. Kyler Murray pre-cod is a pretty great quarterback. The classic Kyler Murray is a gamer. Sebastian looked it up. Cordell Stewart never had a completion percentage below 53%. AR's 47% is really alarming. Yeah, it's bad, dude. If you're completing less than half of your passes, it's bad. John Boys. Oh, yeah. Shout out John Boys. Love that dude. Pre-October Kyler Murray is very good. Yeah, because he was like even good this year too, Maybe Richardson needs to be the LASIK treatment like Jameis. Oh, that's right. Jameis is LASIK, and then it turned out to like not do anything at all. But the offense is going to win out here. Sorry, Sebastian. And you know what? Every year, Goff has been with the Lions. It's been a little bit better, and he just seems to shed the system quarterback label a little bit more. Believe me, this is not disrespect to Jared Goff right here. My opinion on him has gone up consistently every year since he's been with Detroit. Like, he is just like a good player. Like, I honestly think like if Ben Johnson does leave next year, Goff isn't going to like be bad. Not at all. He'll still be a good quarterback. He gets that ball out with timing. He's accurate, like all the cliches, right? But he is a good quarterback. He really is. It's Stafford, dude. I mean, Matthew Stafford is one of my favorite all-time quarterbacks. He's just so much fun to watch. He has been a little bit more inconsistent this year. I don't think he's been quite as good this year as he was last year. But he's still got some vintage performances in him. You think about that game against the Bills. I think maybe his best game of the season was against the Vikings. He went stupid week 1 against the Lions. Nah, dude. Matthew Stafford, pound for pound, is still straight up one of the best throws of football in the entire sport. He maybe has more throws in his bag than anyone but like Josh and Lamar and Mahomes and maybe Herbert. Like, he is ridiculous, dude. He's starting to lose a step, but he could still move around a little bit, and he's still got the bozo gene in him a little bit. But Stafford is just such a special player, man. I don't know. I'm excited to see more postseason Matthew Stafford. I think he's got something for us this playoffs. I just hope it's not against the Vikings because I don't know, dude. He kind of carved us up. He went crazy in that game. He still got it. Unk still got it. That's my Matthew Stafford take. Unk still got it. Aaron Rodgers, I would not say the same thing about. He's better than Fields, though. But I mean, he's just kind of checked out, I don't know. That game this past Sunday was kind of a perfect example of what Aaron Rodgers is now. It's not that like he forgot how to throw a football or anything. He just doesn't care. He's just holding on to the ball, taking bad sacks, just throwing it away, right? Padding the touchdown to interception ratio, like. He's just not a special quarterback anymore. He's not. But we'll catch up a chat here before we get into this. I don't know what I'm going to do with you, to be honest. I mean, we'll probably just take Russ over you by default. I said we'll get to chat, and then we'll get to this. Here's an interesting one. We'll pause and check up with chat before we go into this one. This one's interesting. Here we go. But we know how I feel about Jameis Winston. I've seen it all. Sebastian saying, by the way, Doc, have I seen the Kadarius Toney video that John did? Not yet, actually, believe it or not. And it keeps popping up in my recommended page, but I have not seen it yet. But I've been meaning to check it out. Like, I even clicked on it the other day. I just haven't watched it yet. But the Kadarius Toney fan club. I'm curious to see where he goes with this. That should be pretty fun. But Stafford has years on Goff. He does. He has the experience, right? He has the moxie. I don't know. I think Stafford's mental game has just evolved so much from like even when he was in Detroit, right? Like the way he just sees the field now, he'll hit like a corner route to Cooper Kupp, and it's like, dog, like, how did you even think to throw that? Like, you're letting go of the ball, like, when Kupp still has, like, 2 more steps before he even breaks out of his route. Like, forget, like, throwing it as soon as he's starting to break out. Like, Stafford will just let go of that ball, and somehow he knows exactly where it needs to be. When he's in rhythm with Kupp or Puka, it is just such a joy to watch. Oh, I mean, I could gush over Stafford all day, but... Wolf asks, do I think the Browns select a quarterback in the first round? Don't like Cam Ward or Shador. Ward has the ceiling of Josh Freeman, and Shador just has a lot of drama and entitlement. I don't really love the quarterback class, to be honest. And I'm going to dive in a little bit more maybe once the season winds down and start watching these guys a little bit more. I won't lie. I don't watch like a ton of college football during the season, right? But what I've seen right now, not great, you know, and I think like if a lot of these teams honestly probably shouldn't take a quarterback. The Browns are honestly one of the ones where it's like, okay, I get it, right? Like I feel like they've got a pretty good foundation. They've already got a good coach they feel good about. They've got, you know, maybe a few pieces on offense that they like. The defense is pretty much all the way there. But I also wouldn't blame them for going BPA. I don't think that like the Giants, for example, should take a quarterback. Like I think there's a lot of teams that just aren't ready for a quarterback, especially with like a weaker class on the horizon. But Sebastian still likes Stafford, but he hasn't been on enough this season. No, I get that. He's been a little bit more inconsistent. He's had a few games where it's like, that wasn't as fun as I thought it would be. You know, I always feel like I'm throwing on the Rams. Like I think about that Rams-Jets game or that Rams-Cardinals game. I'm like, oh, let's go. Like I just want to watch Stafford cook for 4 quarters. And it's like 13-9 with like 2 minutes left. And it's like, oh, that wasn't as fun as I thought it would be. You know, the Rams won, but like, you know, they don't care. The Rams don't care. But for me, it's like, you know. But Marquez Valdez is in here. Welcome to the stream, Marquez Valdez. Not Scantling, just Marquez Valdez. Can you imagine if it was MVS that was in here? It's like, yo, what's up, MVS? Welcome to the stream. But Marquez Valdez saying he was awesome in the first San Francisco game. I'm assuming you're talking about Stafford. Yeah. I mean, some of those throws he hit, right? And they were with like their second and third stringers on offense. That game kind of saved their season from the jump, you know, from the jump. But Ishan saying Burrow's an assassin with the pocket, but Josh Allen clears. We'll get to that here in a sec. Marcus Valdez saying, do you think someone would give up a top pick this year for J.J. McCarthy like the Saints, who are top 10? Also kind of tying in with Henry's question, where do I stand on the trade J.J. momentum for the Vikings? I wouldn't trade him. And I say this as someone that wants to keep Darnold, right? The only scenario in which I would want to trade J.J. McCarthy is if you get an insane haul. Now, I saw the FanDuel Twitter account of all places. They always seem to be doing stuff like this, but I saw FanDuel tweet out like a hypothetical trade for J.J. McCarthy, and it was like the Jets gave up this year's first, Braylon Allen, like this year's fourth, and then a 2027 second. I'm like, dude, I'm not going to lie. I might actually do that. If we could get like the 10th overall pick for J.J. McCarthy plus a future second and a running back, yeah, I would do that in a heartbeat. Like, I'm not going to lie. And I liked JJ coming out of the draft. I really did. And I still think like you could plug him in and he'd be pretty good. But Darnold has just been too good to go away from. And if you got like a top 10 pick for a dude that's never played a snap in the NFL, that's coming off an injury, yeah, I would do it. But realistically, I don't think a team would have the stones to offer up a first for JJ. I don't. They'd be like, you know what? Unless there's like one team out there that wants to draft a quarterback that really likes him over the other options in this year's class, I don't think there's any team that would put up a price tag that I'd be willing to be like, okay, let's do this, right? I'd say keep Darnold, keep both of them, right? Which is so funny because I got on the Falcons for this. But there's a difference because I think the Vikings are a little bit of a better team and they don't have as many holes to plug in. Sorry, Henry. But like, you know, you still want JJ to come in eventually, right? In a perfect world. But right now, it feels like the Vikings window is open and Sam is playing well and the locker room loves him. Again, you just can't go away from this. You just can't go away from this. But got Laywell in here. Good to have you in here, Laywell. Saying, Doc, wonderful video. Gonna grab some food real quick, but I'll be back shortly. And Happy New Year, chat. Thank you, Laywell. I really appreciate that. That makes me so happy. Good to have you in here. Happy New Year to you as well. Anything for Clicks is in here too. I will get into this eventually. I just want to say hi to Anything for Clicks. Good to have you back in here too. Saying I should do a video on NFL scouts projections versus sports pundits. Ooh, that would be interesting. You know, we'll get to that in a little bit more too. And yeah, 26 is pretty high for these stream numbers. Yeah, I will say that is pretty cool to see people show up like this. It's very flattering that like this is 20. I'm seeing 23 right now. 23 real people that are like willing to just watch me. And like most of you don't know who the heck I am, right? But it's nice, you know, and it's nice that I get to talk with you guys, you know, it's nice that we get this back and forth. We get to spend time together. So, anyways, Josh Allen or Joe Burrow, back to football. I am going to go Josh here. And I think Burrow's been great, right? It is kind of hilarious looking at some of the Joe Burrow dialogue going into this year, right? I don't know. It's just like he got injured and it's like kind of easy to forget. Like he really is like that. You can call him aura man or if man or whatever, right? But again, just throws such a pretty ball. One of the most accurate passers in the league. Underrated playmaker. Like he can move around and throw on the run. He likes to go big play hunting. I will say, sometimes that gets him into trouble. And I'm going to be super nitpicky right here, but that's only, like, this is not me, like, hating Burrow or anything. Like, I'm not trying to tear him down. Like, I promise you, like, Joe Burrow's probably going to end up at 4 on this list, right? But if we're going to, like, pick between these guys and separate, right, here's what I'll say. Joe Burrow, big play hunts, and it's awesome, and it rules. And I sound like a broken record, but sometimes, I don't know, he'll just take a bad sack. And a lot of it is just like, he's just not the freak that Josh is, right? Think about that Broncos game from Saturday. Burrow rocked in that game. He was awesome. He made big throws left and right. He also got sacked 7 times. And to be honest, I really think a lot of times that was on him, just waiting for something that's not there. And whereas like Josh would be able to like stiff arm a dude and like run for 6 yards, Burrow can't and he gets sacked. Or Burrow is like rolling out and like he could throw all the way across the field to a wide open T. Higgins, but he just doesn't have that throw in him and Josh does. That's the difference. That's straight up the difference right there, is that Josh can do a few more impossible things that Burrow can. Both phenomenal, elite quarterbacks. But it's Josh. It's Josh, dude. It might be the year of Josh. We'll see. It just might be the year of Josh. Anything for clicks saying no one's giving up a first-round pick for an unproven hurt quarterback? Probably, right? And that's why it's like, I don't think that there's going to be a trade. You know, that's what it would take for me to sign off on that, as if I'm in charge of the Vikings or anything. But, oh, man. Henry's saying, so then how many years would be willing to offer Darnold? Ideally, it'd be like a Geno type deal, right? I would say 3 years and backload it. My line of thinking is this, right? The biggest case that people make for letting Darnold go is cap space. And I get that, right? There is just a massive advantage to having a quarterback on a rookie deal, right? It frees up a lot of money. If you're the Vikings, you already have a lot of cap space. Hey, let's go be spenders in free agency. Let's try and maybe plug up the defensive line a little bit or invest in our offensive line a little bit, as well as like re-signing our own guys. Here's my thing though. If we were to bring back Darnold and pay him even like a 3-year deal, right? Year 1, it would not have to be like super expensive, right? We could backload it a little bit. And if you remember my evolution of the Super Bowl blueprint video, right? This was an OG video. This is from a while ago now, but just a fact of the NFL is that roster turnover is high, right? Whether the Vikings paid Darnold or not, truth is, with some of the other contracts they're taking on, like paying Jefferson and paying Hawkinson and paying Darisaw, all things they should do, all things that I agree with, right? They're good players. You keep your good players. Truth is, no matter what, the 2028 Vikings are going to look fundamentally different than the Vikings right now, just straight up. 2025, we should be able to keep most of the core together. Every year that passes, it gets a little bit harder. So yes, maybe in 2028, Darnold's contract won't age well. It's like, oh, we're paying him a lot and the team's not as good. To be honest, I don't really care. I want what's best for the 2025 Vikings. And I think that Sam Darnold being in there, even if that means making a little bit of a sacrifice a few years down the road, that's worth it. Same thing I thought about like the Jared Goff deal, right? You know what? The last year of the Goff deal, okay, they might be paying him the most money. And by that point, like some guys might have left. If you're the Lions, dude, you don't care. You pay that price to keep him around right now. That's my line of thinking, right? So that's why I would be willing to pay him a decent amount of money and even like a 3-year deal. Whatever. Maybe we get rid of him by year 3 and then it's finally JJ time. Who knows, right? It's better. I don't know. It's better to keep our options open, I think. But yeah. Yeah, 2-3-year deal. I like that. Or if you could get an out in year 3, that would be nice. We'll see what he's willing to agree to too, right? But yeah. CJ Stroud or Trevor Lawrence. Going into the year, I was like, oh, this one is close. Again, This is a dude I'm not giving up on yet, right? Oh, and he got hurt this year, and the excuses keep on coming left and right. He is another if man, right? Meet hypothetical man, but I still think he's a good player. I will say what was probably most frustrating for him this year was like, oh, some of the stuff I like about him wasn't as there. Like, oh, wow, now Trevor Lawrence is like kind of looking a little skittish in the pocket a little bit. Or, oh, like he missed a 5-yard out route that he would have hit with ease like not that long ago. You can say, oh, like he's mentally shaken or whatever. He needs a reset, man. In a weird way, it's probably good that like he got to miss the rest of the year and he's just like, he'll come back in when the Jaguars have retooled a little bit. We'll see about it. But I'm not going to pound the table for him being top 10 at this point now. I'm not going to do that anymore. Let's wait another year. But Stroud took a bit of a step back this year, and I get that, right? Again, I don't know. That Texans offensive line is just so bad. Their running game is not good, and yet they insist on running on first and second down every play, right? Most Texans drives are Joe Mixon 2 yards, Joe Mixon 1 yard. All right, it's 3rd and 7. Please, CJ Stroud, like do something cool, save us. And a lot of times he will do it. His accuracy has dipped a little bit this year. You know, I've been on the, I'm not trying to sound like a hater when I said this, right? But like, I was like, well, he was probably a little lucky to throw 5 picks last year. Like that's going to come back to earth a little bit. But I also said, if that happens, my opinion on him isn't probably going to change that much, right? If you go back to Pearchab's comment, if you scroll up, like back in May when I did this, I think Stroud came in at 10. I think that's probably where I'd have him about right now. I still think he's top 10. I don't think he's coming to snatch the throne from Mahomes or anything, but he's still a good quarterback. 10 is very good. 10 is good. There's a good quarterback in there. He still does a lot of things well, but he's not perfect. And the team he's on is not great, but Lawrence is trash. He has not been his best year, I will say. And I get a lot of heat for my Lawrence prop, which understandable. I was Mr. Trevor Lawrence. Oh, man. Leo with a good question. I suppose I clarified this a little bit, but some people might have missed this. Am I ranking who they are overall, encompassing their career, or just ranking for them how they've been this lone season? Yeah, I'm just ranking it like based on how they're playing right now. My line of thinking is, okay, game tomorrow, right? Which quarterback do I want on my team? Drew Lock or Bo Nix? Game tomorrow? Best of luck to me. It's easily Bo Nix. I say that. It is easily Bo Nix. He's another guy that I will say I've been kind of wrong about, right? And I'm still maybe just a little hesitant to like dive into like Bo Nix being like an amazing quarterback, right? But again, there are a lot of things he does better than I thought he would. One, he looks more athletic than I thought he would, straight up. His scrambling is a legit weapon for him. He uses it to pick up first downs, keep plays alive. He can throw on the run a little bit. Yeah, he's pretty accurate. Yeah, absolutely, right? You know, and I will say, like, especially after like the first 4 games of the season with him turning the ball over and stuff, and his average depth of target was like 3 yards and he's still throwing all these picks. I'm like, dude, this is going to be a disaster. No, he's absolutely turned it around. Like, and this is going to sound like a backhanded compliment, but he is a starting quarterback. And while that might sound like, oh, like really, that's all you think? Dude, I'm not going to lie. Like after those first few games, it's like, he's going to be out of the league by year 2. No, he has turned it around a little bit. I will say, I still just, there's still some things that give me pause, right? And I'm not trying to be mean, but again, if we're going to be honest and rank these players, right? Like, he is not typically asked to do a lot of difficult things in this Denver offense, right? You might think back to that Bengals-Broncos game if you guys watched that, right? Like, it's a lot of passes behind the line of scrimmage, a lot of swing passes, a lot of screen passes, a lot of stuff designed up by Sean Payton. Nothing wrong with that, right? Because it's working for the Broncos. The Broncos do not care. Bo Nix probably does not care. And as long as that is working, right, no one cares. Here's what I'll say, though, and this popped up in the Bengals game a little bit, and it's kind of been a theme throughout the season. It's been there at times, but typically when he's asked to do a little bit more than that, when he's asked to throw the ball downfield just a little bit more, that's when you run into some problems. You think about his interception late against the Bengals or his overthrow to Franklin, which I will grant you, some of that was on Troy Franklin maybe. It's tough to know who should have done what, right? But it's like, man, like it was there and he just missed it, right? Or you think about that Chargers game on Thursday night, like, man, there was just a few shots down the field there and he missed it, you know? And I don't know. Sometimes he throws off platform when he doesn't need to, and he'll take some bad sacks. Like I think about the first Chiefs game, right? Like there was a lot of times where he just like fell backwards, and I don't know, instead of like stepping up, like you could just step up in the pocket and have a throwing window. Like as soon as there's pressure, he just kind of goes further backwards. It's like, dog, you just lost like 4 yards you didn't need to, right? I will say that throw to Mims was pretty sick, right? And I'm not, I'm not going to say that was lucky. Like he did what he needed to do on that play. I don't know where Bo Nix is going to end up on this list, but I just wanted to get this out now because I know we've been there's been a lot of Bo Nix discussions on this channel this year, right? There's been a lot of Bo Nix discussions. He's better than Drew Lock, I'll tell you that much. And again, I'm not trying, I know we have a Broncos fan in here. Poor Kira Cat, right? Like, I'm not trying to be mean or anything. And if Bo Nix goes out there and beats the Bills, dude, you deserve to dunk on me so hard. And I mean, you still deserve to dunk on me for what happened to that Colts game. We got Jack in here chanting Drew Lock. Sorry, man. maybe Drew Lock against the Eagles and the Eagles alone, or the Colts and the Colts alone. No, sorry. But it's good to have you in here. Sebastian's been looking at Pro Football Reference comparison between Trevor and Mac Jones, and the efficiency drop-off isn't that big as you'd think. Oh, I've seen him. Hydrogen bomb versus coughing baby right here. Oh, yeah, Will Levis clears, right? I mean, it's not even... No. Come on, dog. Come on. But that's the Bo Nix take. Parachamp saying Bo Nix was ranked 36th and Daniels was ranked 32nd last year. Which quarterback is the most impressive quarterback from the initial ranking? I'm going to say Daniels, right? I mean, I have done a full 180 on Daniels. I was completely wrong about both of them. I will say that, right? I was completely and utterly and unequivocally wrong about both Daniels and Nix. I think I've been a little bit more wrong about Daniels. That's what I'll say. And I think Daniels is the better player. But, oh, man. I may or may not have said something about Spencer Rattler during this draft cycle. Some of you guys might remember that. Oopsies. Oh, I'm tripping. Has Bo Nix ever thrown for 404 tutties in a game? The Drew Lock emojis. All right. Dak or Caleb? Dak. Again. I don't think Caleb is some bum. Dak. Dak or Darnold? I'll still go Dak. Again, I like Darnold a lot, but I think Dak is a fringe top 10 guy, right? He's a solid, probably high-end tier 3 quarterback. He's good. I like him. The choice is obvious. Bo Pick says Ryan Nasty. Oh, you guys are funny. All right. Derek Carr, Jalen Hurts. Gotta be Hurts. Come on now. Hurts or Baker? This is actually an interesting one. Now, if you remember the NFL overvalues quarterbacks video, I made some comments about how Baker Mayfield probably isn't quite as good as Jalen Hurts. And I think I even said it with that exact inflection or tone of voice or whatever, right? Now I'm not so sure. Oh, I really don't know, Jim. Baker. I'm going to go Baker. I am. I don't think Hurts is bad by any means, right? And when I say this, we've almost seen it, right? Hurts is a good enough quarterback you can win the Super Bowl with, right? I don't know, dude. Baker's been playing pretty good. I don't know. I love the Baker renaissance. Behind 10 Drew Locks, he's fringe top 10. We got a new bit. Let's go. Marquez Valdez saying, hey, Brett Coleman had Kaiser QB1 in the Mahomes draft class at one point. Oh, hey, we all miss, right? Brett also said Jatavion Sanders was closer to Brock Bowers than we think. We all have our misses, but it's just part of the job, right? Believe me, I miss plenty of the time, right? It's like baseball, man. You bat if you get 130 or stuff right, you're feeling pretty good. But Baker's on fire. All hail Drew Lock. Baker over Daniels. Ooh. I'm going to go Daniels. I don't know. I think he's a little bit better downfield. I think he's just a little bit more accurate, and he's a better runner. I don't know. It's tough. He is better in every passing stat, but Daniels' threat as a runner is legitimately such a big difference. I almost said difference. That's crazy. I mean, he is so important in that Commanders running game and how successful they are. His gravity, I honestly really think plays a big role. I don't know. And I value athleticism and mobility in a quarterback a lot. I think it just really raises your ceiling, right? When the play's not there and you can take off for like 6 yards even, I don't know. I know. I'm sorry, Ryan Asty. Hey, believe me, I will probably have Baker decently high. Dude, it's just crazy. Like the 180 I've done on Daniels, like that quickly. Again, I don't know that I'll have Daniels like top 10, but man, he's pretty good. Got to stay hydrated here during the Yap Sesh. Aiden O'Connell or Michael Penix. It's got to be Penix. And again, it's tough, right? Because we've seen Penix play 2 games. You see just a little bit more promise in Penix than AOC. And also, Penix was a first-round pick and O'Connell was a 4th-round pick. Obviously, that's not how you should be like doing these, right? But again, it's not like he's played a lot of football either. Aiden O'Connell's he might be last. We'll see. We'll go Penix. Penix or Purdy? We'll go Purdy. Again, I don't think that like Purdy is this amazing game changer. Personally, I don't know that I would pay him, especially if he's asking for like $55 million. And a lot of that has to do with like the 49ers situation, I think, because you could be like, well, doctor, like you're saying pay Darnold but not Purdy. First of all, dare I say Darnold's the better quarterback? Second of all, I think you look at the trajectory of the Vikings and the 49ers, right? The 49ers supporting cast is getting a little bit older. They've already lost some guys on defense, right? CMC will be turning 29 as a running back, dealing with serious injuries. He's on borrowed time. Kittle's past 30, injury history. He's still elite this year, and you could still argue he's the best tight end in football, but also kind of on borrowed time. Deebo Samuel, the way he plays, everything's built off of yards after catch, injury history. He's kind of on borrowed time. Trent Williams is 36, injury history. You're on borrowed time with him, right? Like, I just think, like, do you want to pay Purdy while all this is happening, while you've got cap issues, while everyone is getting older and starting to leave? I don't know that I'd want those two things to overlap. I don't think Purdy is terrible. And this year has kind of proved that, like, he can hang in this league. And again, that might sound like such a low bar, but like, no, like, you know what? He can move pretty well. He's not afraid to push the ball downfield. He's aggressive. And when he's on a good team, he'll get rewarded for it. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, right? You got to play to your situation. But I just don't think like he will be able to, like, I don't know. Like, I think if you're the 49ers and you pay him and you expect like the same results, like that ain't going to happen. And I think Geno's better than Purdy. I'll say that. I think Geno's better than Purdy. But Pearchamp's got his top 10. He's got Josh, Burrow, Lamar, Daniels, Baker, Darnold, Goff, Hurts, Love, and Mahomes at 10. Mostly ranked based off of this year's performance. All right, look at that. Josh QB1. We'll see if that ends up for me too. All right, look at that. Yeah, I got some Mahomes discourse. We'll get to Mahomes here. I mean, I guess he popped up once already and we didn't say a whole lot, but yeah. Oh, I know why Jack doesn't like it, because there's one quarterback whose initials are DL that's missing from that list. Oh, man. 8.32 adjusted net yards per attempt. Who is that for? I'm sorry, Sebastian. I got sidetracked. I don't know who that's in reference to, but 14-2 record. Tua or Bryce? This is another one that honestly I think it's kind of close. Oh, I like Bryce's mobility a lot. I think Tua is still just a little bit more seasoned. I'll lean Tua. In a year, I think I might go Bryce. Give me another year and I might go Bryce. Right now I'll go Tua. Tua or Mahomes. Come on, bro. We'll speed through a few of these Mahomes ones. Jameis or Richardson. Oh, brother. Oh, boy. Oh, no. I'm going to go Richardson just based off, I don't know. I see both of these have such various different outcomes, right? Because for all this, Richardson has been playing some good football, and it just sucks that like he got hurt again and he didn't get to go against the Giants, right? Like, oh, I wish he could have at least stat padded against the Giants instead of Flacco, right? Like I said, like Richardson's had some good games recently. He's been pretty good after the benching. Yeah, I'm going Richardson. I will say I get the turmoil. I get maybe there's less buy-in for him now organizationally. And yes, that completion percentage is still ugly. He's better than Jameis Winston. He is. I'm sorry. He is. Not Kyler, though. Kyler or Love? Toyota-thon is on, bro. It's got to be Love. It's got to be Love. Fields or Goff. I almost said the opposite. Goff clears Fields pretty easily, not the other way around. He's better than Rodgers. Burrow pretty easily. We'll speed through some of these now, right? We'll get to some of them. Oh, here you go, Jack. Here's Drew Lock. Jack Gothberg saying Drew Lock is awful. We've got a Jack war going here. Let's go. It's the battle of the Jacks. A Jack war. Let's go. Oh, we're talking about Sam Darnold. No, Jared Goff. I'm so silly. Yes, Jared Goff. Those are his stats. And the 14-2 record. Yes, he is the starting quarterback for the NFC in the Pro Bowl. Label says, I don't think Mahomes got snubbed from the Pro Bowl. Those three guys in the AFC deserved it more than him this year. I am, however, a little pressed about McDuffie not getting in. Oh, yeah, right, because what it was, Allen, Burrow, Lamar. That's legit, right? That's totally legit. I understand that. Yes. Dog, McDuffie might be first team All-Pro for slot corner. I mean, yeah, come on. Jack is saying, do it. Nah, I'm sorry, dude. I mean, you know this. Come on. You know this. Yeah. In conclusion, any instance of Jared Goff slander is one instance too many. Fair enough. No, he's the Lions franchise quarterback. He's the chosen one. He's the one they've always been looking for. Better scroll back up and go through the facts. I posted less. I consider you a hater. Fair enough. Now that the Lions hater allegations, we'll see if I can survive them on Sunday, dude. That game is going to be electric. You know, it's going to be awesome. Unsubbed. No, my strongest soldier. No. Trevor Lawrence or Bo Nix. Here's one that, like, I don't know. Like, I feel like I am going to go Lawrence still. I just think he's the better player, man. I know, like, real hard-hitting analysis. I think he's got more throws in his bag. I still think he's better in the pocket. If Lawrence stinks it up, it's not like he stunk it up this year. He was just kind of average, right? If he's average again next year, then I might really start to, like, roll it back a little bit. But there's a good quarterback there. He's maybe not quite Stafford in Detroit. That used to be the comp I would like to make. He's not quite that. I'll have to think of a better comp, but I don't know. Caleb or Levis. Okay, we'll finally get to pick Caleb, right? I mean, Levis, he's a fun experience, but he's very Jameis Winston coded, right? I'm sorry, Kira. There will be guys I pick Bo over, right? Trevor Lawrence is my dog. You got to understand that. I say that like I know him. I saw him once, actually, at an American Eagle. It wasn't him. It was a cardboard cutout. But I can pick this one while I drink water, and this one. We're going to be picking Lamar pretty high. Here's an interesting one we can actually talk about a little bit. Herbert is Stafford in Detroit. No, I'm with you, and that's a very fair comp to make, right? And hopefully for the Chargers, maybe Jim Harbaugh and this Chargers resurgence can be his Rams McVay experience, and he doesn't have to go somewhere else to get it. But it is nice to see him be freed a little bit, right? Might be a controversial take, but Carnival is such a trash song. I'm not going to lie. Is that like the Kanye West song where it's like, Carnival, Carnival? I don't think that's how it goes. But Carnival, Carnival, Carnival. Maybe you're talking about a different song. Sebastian saying everyone's favorite fictional Dutch person. Andrew Van Ginkel has also made the Pro Bowl. Congrats on that, dog. Hey, again, you know what? I will have my misses, but darn it, if I wasn't right about Ginky, let's go. Andrew Van Ginkel, deserved Pro Bowler. What a world we live in. Ginky. Let's go. Uh, where was I? Oh, might be an obvious take, but Drew Lock's greater than Brady. We'll go Lamar for this one, right? I don't think there's like a massive gap, but yeah, I mean, you could argue Lamar as QB1. You really could. I won't hate it. It is the one. Okay. Carnival. Maybe that's what it is. Derek Carr or Aiden O'Connell. Well, I think at least Carr is a starting caliber quarterback. I don't think Aiden O'Connell is. Carr Penix? Probably Carr. Just he's a little bit more refined. Carr or Purdy? I'll go Purdy, though. Purdy or Hurts? I feel like these guys are pretty even, honestly. I might be tempted to say Purdy over Hurts, honestly. I think they are very similar plays. And again, I think Purdy's a little bit faster than Hurts. Hurts is a little bit more powerful. They've got similar caliber of arms, similar builds, both kind of aggressive, both really thrive when their aggression is rewarded by good receiving play. Do I dare say Purdy? But Hurts has good, and this is not Hurts slander. Again, I like Jalen Hurts. I think for what he is, right? Like Jalen Hurts' career outcome in the NFL is good. Like I honestly did not expect Jalen Hurts to be this good of an NFL quarterback. He is like, and you know what? He'll be in Philly for a while. Yes, they paid him a lot of money. Yes, by like 2028, it might not look good. But for right now, it works. Absolutely. I'm going to go Purdy over Hurts. That's crazy. I don't think I would have done that going into the year. I'll go Purdy over Hurts, though. I love your Mario Kart take, Laywell. No, I'm all the way there with you. Mario Kart Wii is goated. One of my all-time favorite games. I actually got to play that on Christmas Day. That was pretty fun. Yeah. Leonard Williams not making the Pro Bowl. Yeah, that was bad. He probably should have got into. Yeah, it's the Pro Bowl, right? There'll be some misses, but keep your eyes peeled for the Dr. Pigskin All-Star team, maybe. Maybe I'll cook that up and we can get some love for the guys who deserved it. But Vita Vea is Ryan Asty's favorite player. Happy he's a Pro Bowler. Deserved it. What a beast against the run. What a beast. Pear Champ says, I don't think Herbert will ever make a deep playoff run with the Chargers. He will need the Tom Brady or Matthew Stafford treatment to go on a loaded team needing a quarterback. I will say the Chargers are flirting with being a loaded team. They're obviously not there yet, but this is year one of a very serious rebuild for them. I think they're way ahead of schedule. You look at how well coached they've been. Harbaugh, again, they don't make too many coaches like Harbaugh these days. He's not a scheme lord, but he's got some great coordinators with him. They absolutely killed their draft. I think that's one of the most underrated storylines of the season. The Chargers absolutely knocked their draft out of the park. Joe Alt, Lad McConkey, I mean, Henley has been great at linebacker. Tahib still at corner, right? I think I got his name right. Like, they have gotten so much out of their rookies this year. And you look at, like, I don't know, man. Like, they had a good process and everything. They killed their draft. I think they're flirting with being a good team right now. I think they're another team that like could be dangerous in the playoffs. And man, give them another year or two. They might actually be that loaded team. But Zach Allen, that's crazy. I mean, again, like, you know, anyone can vote for the Pro Bowl, right? And like maybe a lot of people outside of Denver don't know just how much of a beast Zach Allen has been. Like, you could make a serious case for like Zach Allen all pro. I mean, he first or second team for sure. I mean, if he's not like he's got to be on at least one of the all pro teams. He's been one of like the best defenders in football this year. I mean, he is a monster. And he's kind of like a guy that just kind of like came out of nowhere too, right? They signed him from Arizona. Just like, okay, nice, good, solid starter. And then all of a sudden this year, it's like, oh, actually, like he's unblockable. That's cool. Oh, Bailey Zappi starting for Cleveland. Huge upgrade. Sure. Sebastian with a quarterback-centric question. Do I think that coaches on the Shanahan tree using the Shanahan model are inherently bad at developing young QBs because they use their QBs as a human joystick and don't let them figure things out? That's a good question, actually. I feel like I've not really seen that question posed a lot before. I will say maybe a little bit, right? Or they try and get him to assimilate to the system too much. I honestly think that's one of the things that's like hurting CJ Stroud right now. Again, the Shanahan system, yes, the idea is to make your life make life easy for the quarterback, right? All the motion, you get guys open, and as long as the quarterback is accurate, you can hit him on the run, set up yards after the catch, all that is great. But not everyone wants to play that way, right? And I think for like CJ Stroud, like they've got him running this Bobby Slowick, like Chat GPT generated Kyle Shanahan offense where it's just like, see, we can run outside zone and we can set up play action off of that. And we can do all the things that Kyle does, but just like, 20% worse. And like, and it's just like, I don't know. Sometimes it's nice to just CJ Stroud get out in the gun with like 4 or 5 wide and just like sling the ball around a little bit. So I get that. I get that a little bit. Honestly, that's an interesting thought. I think the best thing is like when you can marry some of those concepts with what the quarterback does, right? I praise Matt LaFleur a lot. And I really think, especially in hindsight now, looking at like how his career has played out and how Rodgers' career has played out, right? Like it is honestly so impressive that Matt LaFleur got Rodgers to buy into what LaFleur wanted to do while also merging that with what Rodgers liked to do, right? Again, he's one of those guys that likes to get in shotgun. He doesn't like the pre-snap motion. He likes going quick so he can get the defense offside, test him downfield. And for 2 years, man, they found a compromise. And those were like 2 of the best years of Rodgers' career. And he won MVPs and stuff. And then now with Jordan Love, it's a lot of the Rodgers stuff, but also it's a lot of what LaFleur wants to do and like power running, right? And like you look at McVay when he got Stafford, it's like, all right, we're going to start spreading it out and going in shotgun more because that's what Stafford wants to do, right? So yeah, I love that question. That's a great question. I love that. Marquez Valdez saying Jim Harbaugh has been the advantage of knowing every college player better than any other coach. Probably lasts for like 2 more years. Oh yeah, that's a good point. He's got that inside edge, that inside scouting. All right, Purdy or Baker? I'm gonna go Baker. Baker or Geno? We'll go Geno. Geno or Daniels? That's a tough one. I still might lean Geno. Daniels is a little bit more accurate, but Geno, I don't know. He's just got some ridiculous throws in him, man. Obviously, Daniels is the better runner, but Geno, I think he's really good from the pocket. And it's just so impressive what he's able to do from the pocket behind a terrible offensive line, right? I mean, it is just a deeply unserious offensive line. Yes, the receivers are good, but man, it just caps them so much. I'll go Geno. Jameis or Bryce? Bryce. Give me Bryce all day. We'll run through some of these here. There's a Sporcle quiz I want to play too. But we got Ron Arnold in here. Let's go. Saying Rodgers has fallen off hard. He had such a bad season this year, even though the entire organization catered to him. Yeah, I mean, talk about one of the all-time letdowns, disappointments, right? Yeah, it's probably over for him. I mean, he'll probably play again next year maybe, but I don't know. Kind of a random question, Henry says, who is the next head coach to establish a successful tree of coaches? I think we might be seeing it a tiny bit right now. Well, I want to be careful when I say this, actually. I'm tempted to say Mike Macdonald off the bat, right? You look at all the sim pressures and the creepers and all the disguises and loading things up and, oh, it looks like we're going to blitz from this way, but actually we're blitzing from this way. And actually our defensive tackle is dropping into coverage and our safety's rushing instead and stuff like that, right? And I think it's easy for me to say that because he got hired as a head coach and a lot of his assistants got hired this offseason, right? You look at Anthony Weaver with the Dolphins and Denard Wilson with the Titans, right? Those were 2 of his assistants in Baltimore, both getting DC jobs. And then Jesse Minter, who ran a very similar scheme in Michigan, went to the Chargers. But Jesse Minter isn't really running like the Mike Macdonald Baltimore Ravens defense with the Chargers, right? It hasn't been as much like schemed up stuff necessarily. It's been a little bit more of a normal defense, if you will. I still might say that though. I don't know. Sebastian saying, well, we'll get to Sebastian's in a second. If I can think of another good example. Yeah, I will say Mike Macdonald. I don't know. A lot of his assistants have jobs right now. And I mean, he's done a great job in Seattle, right? Did someone say Mike Macdonald? And we'll see. Maybe once the Chargers invest a little bit more in their defense and they get different personnel, maybe they will start doing some of that funky stuff. Like, they're not going to have Poona Ford drop back in coverage. That's what I'll say. But like with Matabike, like you could actually do that every once in a while, but well, Poona Ford did get an interception this year. So who knows? What am I saying? He got an interception week 1. That made me so happy. Shout out Poona. Sebastian saying Geno over Baker is a crazy take, but I'm legit interested in your reasoning there. I just think Geno throws a better ball, man. And I still think he maneuvers the pocket a little bit better, right? Baker, and I don't want to sound like too much of a hater, right? I'm very high on Baker. I like Baker. I will say he's behind one of the best offensive lines in football, and he still gets sacked a lot. And some of that is on him because, I don't know, sometimes he just puts a little bit too much dip on his chip. And you know what? Geno does too. I don't know, man. If Geno had a line like Baker had, I don't know, man. I just think, I don't know. If you want to go band for band, throw for throw, I think Geno could beat out Baker. I think it's close. I think they're similar enough players. I think he sees the field a little bit better too. Like, I just think he's a little bit smarter of a quarterback. I get the interceptions, yeah. Like, and especially like all of them coming in the red zone. Like, I don't even think this has been Geno's best year by any means. But like, I don't know. You think about like that game against the Lions this year, right? And I just think like that's the perfect illustration of like how good he is, right? And again, like, you hate to like do this, but like, you look at how just truly terrible Seattle's offense was when Geno was out for even a half, right? It's like, dude, Geno, like if they had a quarterback back there with worse pocket presence, their offense might be a disaster. Like, it'd be like, oh, they're wasting these receivers. How are they doing this? Like, I don't know, dude. Baker, and this isn't even like, oh, this is like moral of the story, Baker's bad, but like Baker behind that offensive line would get sacked like 60 times in the season. I don't know, man. I don't know. But hey, Todd Bowles, offense coaching tree. Hey, he's been getting these offensive coordinators. Yeah, sneaky Todd Bowles. If Cohen gets hired, yeah. Baker over Geno, switch teams, and Baker's better on both. I don't know, dude. Geno on the Bucks would be kind of sick. I don't know, dude. You get a play caller like Cohen, you get that offensive line, you get Mike Evans, you get that run game with Bucky Irving and Rashad White. I don't know that he would be. That's just my opinion, though. I don't know. I think Geno on the Bucks would be sick, but Bryce Young or Anthony Richardson, we're not even halfway through. I was like, oh, this isn't going to take as long this time. Oh, well. I'm with you, Green Gandalf, right? Like, honestly, like, Geno should get sacked like 60 plus times a year, but he doesn't, you know? A lot of that is on him. Bryce or Richardson? Ah, geez, Louise. We'll go Bryce. I'm sorry, Anthony. Oh, Richardson. Oh, he disappointed me so much. But real talk, when's the last time Seattle's had a great offensive line? Like the Max Unger days back in like 2013. I don't know. Henry saying Baker would be more successful on Seattle than Geno. I don't think he would, to be honest. I don't think he would. That's my personal opinion. I do not think he would. I think a lot of Baker's shortcomings would be more pronounced on Seattle than Geno's would. I don't know, man. I don't know. I hate to be like, well, like avoiding pressure and all that, but I just think like that stuff matters so much, right? When you think about like sacks versus interceptions, right? What happens more frequently? A sack, right? And if you want to get really nerdy and like break down like expected points lost and stuff like that, right? Like typically over the course of a season, a quarterback and an offense suffers more from sacks taken than they do from interceptions thrown. Like if you look at, especially like quarterback throws an interception on like 3rd and long, okay, they're just trying to make something happen, versus like a sack taken on like 2nd and 4, like that's bad. That could kill a drive, you know, right? Sacks can kill drives just as easily as interceptions do, and it's a more frequent play. So like, I don't know. You look at like the Bills offense, like last year with Josh Allen, right? Like, oh, Josh threw 18 picks, and yet the Bills still had one of the best offenses in the league because those 18 picks were like the only negative plays they had, right? They're not losing 6 yards on 1st and 10, taking a bad sack, right? I don't know, but Sebastian saying you'd have to go back to at least the early Pete Carroll era to find one for a good line. Baker Baker turns the ball over too, right? Yeah, that's a very good point. Doesn't he have like 14 picks or something? We're gonna pull this. I promise this is not like a Baker Mayfield hate sesh or anything. He has 15 picks this year, right? Which again, that doesn't bother me as much because you know what? He also has 39 touchdowns. And I know that's like a simpleton stat, like touchdown to interception ratio. But you know what? It's a stat. All right. Kyler over Bryce. We'll do that. I'll still say Kyler over Tua too. Kyler or Drake May? I honestly think this one is fairly close. Again, I'm stupid high on Drake May, and especially like, oh, my dream matchmake, right? New Patriots OC, Brian Daboll. Put Brian Daboll with Drake May. Oh, please, right? Kind of Josh Allen-esque a little bit with the, he's not quite as big as Josh, but a great athlete, sick arm, right? Oh, please. We'll see. We'll see if that happens or not, but I'll still go Kyler for the moment. But again, like, Kyler is a bit of a frustrating player. Like he just hasn't been consistently what you think he could be. And at this point, it's like what, year 5 or 6? Like you just have to take what you see at face value. And he's on a fairly good offense too. Like I think the line is pretty good. I think the receivers are pretty good. Marv and McBride, they don't have the greatest depth, and like there's been the whole Marv situation this year, but I don't know. Man, this turned on its head. I'm gonna keep baking though. Hey, bake all you want, right? Hey, again, Baker Mayfield is going to make the playoffs for the second straight year. He's leading a dangerous offense. He's feeling dangerous, right? This is not me saying like, oh, this is why the Bucs are bad, actually. Yeah, that is quite the Drake May photo, though, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, man. Sebastian saying, I feel like that's balanced out by the fact that interceptions are an immediate change of possession. It's very possible for an offense to salvage a drive after sacks. That is true. But, if it's like 3rd and 13, you might be a little bit more hesitant to actually pick up the first down. But that is fair. Like, it's not over when you take a sack. I will give you that. Maybe sometimes that big brain thinks too much. And maybe sometimes I, like, go on Sumer Sports. I don't know if that's how you say it. Or, like, NFL ELO too much. Or I'm spending too much time on rbsdm.com. A little too numbers pilled. It's so funny. If you go back to some of my older videos, man, it's I don't know. There's a couple different ways I could go with that. Maybe I'll post something in the Discord later. We'll see. Mahomes. Come on. Okay. See, this one I don't even know what to do with. I don't think Fields is all that great by any means. He was all right when he played this year. Honestly, like, as silly as it is to single out one play, his touchdown to Calvin Austin against the Chargers, I remember watching that on my Spirit flight back to Atlanta after going to my cousin's wedding in Michigan, right? And this was after the Vikings game, or maybe it was going on during the Vikings game, but it was Steelers-Chargers. This was when Justin Fields was in for the Steelers. And he had a touchdown to Calvin Austin. I was like, yo, like, Fields hit a dude on the run over the middle. Like, when has he ever done that in the NFL, right? That being said, you look at the difference in the offense with Russ in there now. And the offense is built more for Russ. I don't know, man. Fields he's all right. He's all right. I don't even know what to say about JJ McCarthy. I feel like I just have to have JJ last by default. I feel like that's fair, right? We'll just have JJ last at default. I mean, Russ over Fields. I feel like this one's pretty self-explanatory. We've seen both in the same offense this year. Russ has just been straight up better. Russ or Rodgers. Oh, rough. But yeah, if you Google quarterback ranking quiz, it should pop up, right? Look for the Stay Hot, right? You might be on Bladen.com. Shout out Bladen Kirk. But if you want to find it on there, you can take it yourself. Drop the results or something. But Henry saying, I'll never forget the I'm feeling dangerous Baker game between the Browns and the Falcons. You know what's crazy? I actually had no idea. Well, I mean, I'm sure I knew at the time, but I forgot. That was against the Falcons. Really? That would have been... Was that 2018, right? Was that his rookie year? Huh. I didn't know that. Huh. Sebastian saying, plus even drive killing sacks give you more control over your opponent's starting field position. I get it. No, that's fair. That's a fair argument, right? I'm not here being like, this is, Russ has never played better than Aaron this year, or has been. Overall, well, no, of course not, right? If it's all time, it's Rodgers. He really has been better than Rodgers this year, hasn't he? Yeah. I don't know. Rodgers has had a few good games, and you can look at his touchdown to interception ratio. But again, I think like Rogers like low interception number kind of lies a little bit because like, okay, but like he's also just not trying. Like he just padded his career stats, dude. Let's be real. Goff over Russ pretty easily. Burrow or Goff? I think that Burrow is just like a better Jared Goff and like a really good Jared Goff, right? And like Goff is good, you know. That is true. Russ didn't have a Hail Mary. Rodgers did. Unk still got it. Would have been an epic matchup 10 years ago. Yeah, Burrow is like a swaggier Jared Goff. I don't know what I'm saying at this point. Stafford or Burrow? This one I think is a legit debate. I would still lean Burrow because, again, I just don't think Stafford has been completely locked in all the time this year. Some of that you can point to, like, okay, early season, like his numbers were deflated because there was no Kupp, no Puka, and like half of their starting offensive line was out, and that's fair. But even now, again, like, man, I just wanted them to shred the Cardinals a little bit, and it just didn't happen. The offense has been a little inconsistent, and if they didn't have that outburst against the Bills, I think there'd be a slightly different narrative about the Rams right now. I say this as Mr. Ram, as someone that loves this Sean McVay, Matthew Stafford iteration of the Rams so much. But yeah, like the offense has low-key not been quite as good as I thought it would be this year, even when fully healthy. I will go Burrow. I tell you what, though, I believe if you scroll back up, if you look at my results from May, I think I had Stafford over Burrow. I think these guys are like right next to each other, but I'll go Burrow. Last year I was on Team Stafford, but Burrow took it. I'm right there with you. I think I'm right there with you. Ron says Burrow is better than Goff. Goff is just on a way better team. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. Sebastian saying he'll tolerate it. Hey, there we go. Whew. Henry asking, do I think Cooper Kupp is officially cooked? I don't think he's cooked. I think he's the clear number 2 now, though, and I think that's good for him. I think if Puka goes down, that's not good news. And it's funny I say that because, like, week 1, Puka did go down and Kupp kind of went crazy, right? But he has lost a little bit of a step, right? It's kind of underrated, like, 2021 when Kupp won the Triple Crown, you know, it could be easy to say like, oh, he was a McVay merchant. He was a Stafford merchant. Like he wasn't really that good. I don't know, dude. Cooper Kupp was like legitimately a great athlete at his peak, right? He's just had so many injuries at this point. He was already an older guy coming out of college, right? He played at a real FCS school in Eastern Washington, right? Playing some real college football. But, you know, like he already had a lot of miles on him, even coming into the league. And then you suffer that many injuries and you're just a little bit older, right? Yeah, he's lost a step. I think here's my Cooper Kupp take. Like, for the people that thought that Kupp was like kind of a system merchant a little bit back in 2021, I think that's what he is now. Like, I think at his best, he was like legitimately a top 5 receiver, like just so good after the catch. I still think he's really good. As silly as this might be to like gas him up over, like I still think he's one of the best blocking receivers in the NFL. And that's really important because he's asked to do that a lot in this McVay offense, right? They kind of treat him like a second tight end. He's in the slot, but they put him so close to the offensive line. They're like, hey, like we need you to like open up a hole on this run right here, right? He's still, you know, he's still got the connection with Stafford and all that stuff. I don't think he's cooked, but he's not the player he once was. And them having Puka as like the guy now is big. I mean, if there is a wide receiver version of this, I don't know, man. I think Puka would come in like obscenely high for me. I think he's so good. I love Puka so much, but Sebastian saying you have to consider Burrow's numbers are affected by how heavily the Bengals have relied on the passing attack to keep them in games. Absolutely, right? I think I might have touched on this last week. Yeah, they've thrown the ball like more than any other team in the league because they've had to, right? And some of that is like some of Burrow's stats is like, yeah, Burrow's like that and he's sick. Some of it is, oh, they throw the ball a lot. And some of it is they have Chase and Higgins. But enough of it is Burrow. It's like, yeah, he's a beast, dude. You got to love Joe Burrow. But I would love to know your top 10, actually, Ryan. I say, please drop it in chat. Let's go. I'm loving people taking the quiz alongside me. You guys are probably doing faster than I am. 2 coughing babies. Here you go, Jack. What the heck? We'll go Drew Lock over Will Levis. What the heck? Why not? Why not? There you go, Jack. I hope you're still in here. I hope you saw that right there. You get your Drew Lock pick. Let's go. Not over Caleb, though. Sorry. Caleb or Bo Nix. Oh, I'm sorry, Kira. I still think Caleb's a better player, man. You know, again, he's had some shortcomings and some warts. Like, he has not been a perfect player by any means. It can be easy to not as fault him. And to an extent, I think that's true, right? You look at just how deeply unserious this Bears organization has been, right? Mr. Shane Waldron himself running the offense into the ground, and the line hasn't been great. But again, some of this is on Caleb. Some of this is him trying to do too much. Some of this is him missing throws down the field, right? Like, you have to put some of the blame on him. He is not absolved by this from any means. Caleb can do a lot of things that Bo Nix can't. I don't know. He can. I know he can. He can, but also he misses some too. That's the thing. Bo Nix misses deep balls too. That's the thing. I don't know, man. I'm standing on business. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I'm still taking Caleb over Bo Nix. Maybe this will be goodness. Now it's Trevor Lawrence versus Caleb Williams. Goodness gracious. I mean, this is like QBs that people are annoying about, right? And I'm going to go Trevor. Oh, no. Hey, you push your agenda all you want. I respect it, right? And I like, if you're a Broncos fan, you got to stand on business and come at me, right? Like, hopefully this isn't like a Nate Tice situation where I'm like public enemy number one. We can have a nice, honest, open dialogue here, right? There's nothing wrong with that. But Henry saying, remember when there were rumors Levis would be a top 5 pick? Oh, yeah, right. Remember someone on Reddit was like, guys, I know someone from the Panthers. Levis is going first overall. Look at the Vegas odds. They just shifted. That was crazy. Do you remember what I wanted Will Levis when he kept falling? I was like, you know what? Screw it, Vikings. Take him. I don't want the Kirk Cousins experience anymore. Do you remember that? And then we took Addison. I was like, no. Oh, no. He's stupid. And then he kind of proved me right. Yeah. That was a horrible weekend. Trevor fell off hard. He has a little bit. You know what's crazy is I'm not sure who to pick for this, to be honest. Dude, I hate how so much of this, and this is my own doing, right? Like, this is my own doing. Like, I hate how I just always am like, well, imagine if this guy was on this team, right? And I could be like, well, imagine if Trevor Lawrence was on the Vikings. And believe me, I have many times, and I've thought, but Darnold has like a comparable talent to him though, right? I can't lose. Either I get to pick my king, Trevor Lawrence, or I get to pick the quarterback of my favorite team. Oh my gosh. I'm dangerously close to picking Darnold. I don't think I'm going to do it. I can't quite bring myself to do it. But you know what's crazy? I think they're about even. And to me, that is a wild thing to say. We'll go Dak over Trevor. Dak or Stroud. I think this is another case. Like, these two players are very similar, and I could see them having very similar career arcs. And again, like, after CJ Stroud's electric rookie year, like, that might sound like a letdown, right? But honestly, dude, like, if you're Houston, you would love if CJ Stroud had Dak Prescott's career. You would love that, right? You just got to like take advantage of that a little bit. Consistently a top 10 quarterback, few years where he like enters the MVP conversation. Both of them had fantastic rookie years. Both of them are like decent on the move, but not elite by any means, right? Both of them prefer to just like kind of throw from the pocket a little bit. Both of them have great accuracy on intermediate and deep throws, kind of like to push the ball downfield a little bit. They are honestly extremely similar players. I really think so. I'll lean Stroud. See, it's tough because Dak being injured has prevented him from having any more like bad games this year, right? We barely saw Dak this year, and it's like, whatever, right? Versus Stroud, like, he's had some of the worst games of his career recently. I'll still lean Stroud. I like Stroud. Stroud or Herbert, I'll go Herbert. I would have said Stroud last year. Nah, it's Herbert. Winston or O'Connell, good Lord. Winston? We'll go Penix over Winston. Penix or Richardson? Oh, brother. Ron says, everyone trashes Darnold for just being lucky to play on a team on the upswing. What? Like, that's a crime? He'd be trashed if he wasn't taking advantage of being on a good team. Oh, absolutely, right? You know, I had a saying last year, and maybe I should bring this back, right? And I truly believe this. Like, here, my thing with like system QBs or whatever, right? Like, if it works, like, it doesn't really matter to me. Like, as long as it keeps working, as long as you're winning, it's really not that big of a deal, right? As I like to say, I said this a lot last year. Like, I especially with like Purdy or like Tua a little bit, right? Like, oh, he's a system QB. So what? The system is sick. You know what? If people want to call Darnold a system QB, you know what I think? Let's go. Our system's good. Let's go. We have a good team. That's awesome. You're telling me we can bring some guy in to be our quarterback and it'll work? Yeah, let's do it. That's all. Thank you. That's awesome, right? You know, that's awesome. But Henry saying the Addison draft night was one of the funniest moments ever. Still think about it often. We scoring all night. That interview is so funny, dude. Yeah, let's go get paid. Dude, so many Vikings fans hated him after that. Like, really? You're thinking about getting paid? It's like, dog, relax. Like, it's draft night. He's just having fun. And the question is like, what do you think about playing with Justin Jefferson? He's like, we scoring all night. Oh, man. Oh, man. But that was funny. I remember falling on the floor because we didn't get Will McDonald. And I tell you what, look who's near the top of the league in sacks this year. If it ain't Will McDonald the fourth, well. Sometimes, occasionally I'm right. It's chill though. We got Ginky and Gernard, and Dallas Turner's coming. He's coming. He might even be here as soon as next year, man. I don't know. This past month of football for him has got me like genuinely excited for how good he might be. He was a bit of a project. Sorry, small Dallas Turner tangent here. And then we'll get back to the quiz. You know, you might even remember my draft night stream. I was like pretty excited. I was like, oh, he is a bit of a project. Like, we'll see. It's going to be on our coaching staff to develop him. Whew. I don't know. Again, he doesn't play a ton right now just because we've got two good edge players already. Like that sack against the Bears. I don't know, man. That's rare bend right there. I'm not saying he's going to be good as this player. Probably not, right? Because that's such a stupidly high bar. Dog. Sometimes he looks like Von Miller out there. He's not going to consistently hit that level. Like being Von Miller is impossible. Dude, I don't know. I think he should be like a good breakout candidate for next year. I could see him getting like 10 sacks next year. I am genuinely excited for Dallas Turner. But back to the quiz. Richardson or Penix? Man, this is going to sound harsh. Probably two of the least accurate quarterbacks in the league right now. Again, it's so tough because Penix, like, he just needs a little bit more time to figure out who exactly he is. Right now, based off what I've seen, I'm going Richardson. I'm sorry. I'm going Richardson. Man. Here's Ryan Astes. He's got Burrow at 1, Lamar at 2, Josh at 3, Baker 4, Stafford 5, Goff 6, Daniel 7, Love 8, Mahomes 9, and Herbert 10. Okay, we'll see how my top 10 compares to that. But look at that. Burrow 1, Lamar 2. Look at the AFC North eating. Let's go. Ron saying Dak Prescott is just Tony Romo Jr. Great stats in the regular season, nothing to show for it in the postseason. Dude, it's such a shame, right, that the Cowboys just keep crashing out in the playoffs. And yeah, you know what? A lot of that is on Dak. Like, he did not have a good game against the Packers last year, and it's just such a bummer. Like, he had the best year of his career, and he couldn't even shed the postseason choker label for one game, man. Just one win is all it would have taken to, like, ease things up a little bit. Bummer. It's a bummer, but what can you do, right? Bit off topic, but after last week, I've thought about it, and I think I'm leaning towards the Chargers as your favorite AFC team. That's a good pick right there. I love the vibes with them. The young guys, Poona and Tuli, that's great. Yeah. And you got Herbo. Yeah. Interesting fact about McDonald, he has only 26 tackles this season, but 21 are QB hits. Let's go. Pass rush merchant right there. Just a straight up pass rusher. Let's go. Yeah. Yeah, no, he missed Drake London a lot. All right, Carr or Richardson? I'm not going to pick Richardson. Yeah, I am. I'm so sorry. He's one of those guys I'm gonna be annoying about for a little bit. If he doesn't take, I know his completion percentage is low and it's frustrating. We'll go Hurts over Richardson though. We will. I won't go that far, but I'll take him over Carr. I don't know. Again, like the legs, man. He's a walking run game. Like he's got a run game built in with how good of a runner he is. 21 QB hits are not included in tackles. But still, I get what you mean, though. Yeah, he gets after the quarterback. He doesn't do a whole lot else. Nothing wrong with that, though. But especially if you have a deep defensive line, which the Jets used to have. But then they lost the GOAT, John Franklin Myers. All right, Jalen Hurts or Bryce Young. Again, maybe a bit closer. Bryce is really... See, I'm just scared. We'll go Hurts for now. That's such a lame reason. I'm scared. I'm also trying to make some more progress on here. We'll speed up here a little bit because, again, I want to do this quiz and then I want to unveil this Discord that the sleuths have already found in my link tree. Tua or Hurts? We'll go Tua. May or Hurts? Screw it. We ball. Drake May. Drake May or Purdy? Am I going to be a little irresponsible here? I might. As you might notice, I do, again, I'm a little traits pilled, maybe a little bit too traits pilled at time. Here we go. I will not put May over Mayfield, though. Here we go. Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield or Kyler? I might actually go Baker. Dude, that's crazy you just said that, Henry. You know what's funny? I've been thinking about this for a couple of weeks now. I think the biggest thing it'll come down to is how they address their defense in the offseason. Because to be honest, and I was skeptical of them like this year, right? Like, especially after they benched Bryce, I was like, I just don't know what's going on in that organization, right? With the full season pretty much now in view, knowing what we know, seeing what we've seen, honestly, they kind of killed their offseason. They really did, right? There's only so much that you can do in a singular offseason. They said, we're going to fix this offense. We're going to bring in some new linemen. We're going to get some receivers. We're just going to attack the offense, free agency, in the draft. And to be honest, they kind of hit it out of the park. Their line is honestly pretty good now. Robert Hunt has been such a good signing, right? Oh, $100 million for Robert Hunt, Panthers tax. Yeah, but he's also kind of like that, right? The run blocking, especially. I mean, they're just moving guys in the run game. Bryce has some time now, right? They're finding Jalen Coker, right? I mean, getting this dude out of Holy Cross, right? Leggett, we'll wait and see. He does have some pretty, like every week, like the drop problems seem to get worse, right? But he is getting open still. If he could just catch the ball, maybe he doesn't, and that dooms him, but we'll see, right? I mean, they somehow won the Deontay Johnson trade. I mean, if they can address this defense, because the defense is still pretty bad. If they go into next season with the defense, I would say, no, I'm not on the bandwagon. But they'll have a high pick in a pretty good defensive class. They'll have maybe some resources to make some moves on defense. They'll be getting Derek Brown back, which is kind of like they lost their best player on defense and their defense was already bad. It's tempting. I might be. If they have a good offseason, come August, I might be doing it again, which we know how that went for me last time when I picked the Panthers to win the division. And you were on that more than like anyone else. You were like, that is your worst take this season. I'm sorry. And you were absolutely right. Like you were on that beat. I mean, a lot of people were, but yeah, I might be ready to do it again. We'll see. I've always just had a weird soft spot for the Panthers, but imagine I misclick on Mahomes once and he's like 10. Jets pass rush has never been the same since they lost Muhammad Wilkerson. Great pull right there. Mayfield or Love? I'm going to go Love. I'll go Love over Daniels too. Love or Geno? I'm going Love. Call me crazy. I'm going Love. Laywell had a nice 5-star plate of reheated leftovers. Bang. Honestly, sometimes it feels like you're eating a 5-star meal with reheated leftovers. Sometimes it's just exactly what you need, you know? We'll go Levis over McCarthy again, just kind of by default. Fields or Levis? Fields, I guess. Fields or Lock. Oh, can we just skip through this part? We'll go Fields, I guess. We'll go Bo Nix over Fields. Come on. We'll go Bo Nix over Fields. And you know what? We'll go Bo Nix over Rodgers. Bo Nix or Russ? Bo Nix or Russ? You know what? We'll go Bo Nix. He's running the Broncos offense better than Russ did. We'll go Bo Nix. We'll go Goff over Bo Nix, though. Goff over Caleb. Goff over Darnold. I'll be real with myself. And we'll go Goff over Trevor. Goff or Dak. I feel like they're pretty close to being even. Oh, nice. Little stir fry action. Gonna hop off for the night. Thank you for the stream. Appreciate it. Thank you for tuning in as always, Henry. Good to have you in here. Enjoy that stir fry. Sebastian saying I'm a secret Packers fan. I mean, I do have a Packers jersey now. It's funny. Like, I don't hate the Packers as much as you might think a Vikings fan does. And again, like I like Jordan Love. What can I say? But Prescott or Goff, that one's tough. I'm actually tempted to say Goff, which again, I would have not done this last year. And maybe Dak's injury is like causing him to fall too much. Goff is playing some good football, man. I'm going to go Goff. Goff or Stroud? I'll go Stroud. Stroud or Stafford? We'll go Stafford. We'll go Herbert over Stafford again. Might have said Stafford last year. This year, Herbert's been a little bit better. Herbert or Burrow? This is like the ultimate debate right here. Who sneaks into the final spot? Or not the final spot, top 5, but like who's better, right? These both came from the same draft class. I think they're close. I'm going to lean Burrow, though. I am going to lean Burrow. Burrow or Lamar? I'll go Lamar. Lamar or Josh? Low key, this might be battle for QB1 right here. And I say this as like someone that's honestly never really had an issue with the Chiefs, right? Like never had an issue with Mahomes. I even have a Mahomes jersey. I like watching him, right? Even though it hasn't been as fun or exciting, you know. Mile marker with a good question. We'll get to that in a sec. I think these might be the two best quarterbacks in the league right now. And it's not even just like for this season, but like you factor in last season too, right? This has been the MVP race now for the last 2 seasons. And Mahomes is right there too. I still believe that. Like, I think what I'll say is this. I think these might be the 2 best quarterbacks in the league, and Mahomes is in that tier too. Like, I feel like there have been years where like it's, oh, Mahomes is in his own tier and then this is tier 2. Nah, they are on the absolute same level as Mahomes now. Absolutely. This one is genuinely tough, man. I go back and forth between this all the time. I really do. I think I slightly lean Josh, but it is so tough. It is so tough. If you want to say Lamar is QB1, I genuinely have no issue with that. If you want to say he's the best quarterback in the league, I get it, man. Again, it makes me so happy that this is well established at this point. He is as good from the pocket as he is outside the pocket. He's an electric runner. He's got such a good arm. His passing numbers are ridiculous this year. If you want to go Lamar, I have no issue. I think it's Josh by a hair. I don't know. I think peak Josh, like the best Josh games, are just a tiny bit better than the best Lamar games. I think maybe the best game I've seen from a quarterback this year was Josh against the Lions. I mean, he had like 4 or 5 throws in that game that I like leaped out of my seat, and I just could not believe it. That throw he hit to Keon Coleman, where he's like rolling out and he's telling him to like go further downfield. Like, I'm going to throw this farther than you think I can throw it. And he hits it. I mean, come on, dude. Not this year though. See, that's like, not really. Not this year, at least, right? I get, yeah, the interceptions. Not this year. 6? Granted, Lamar has even fewer, right? I think Josh is a little bit more reckless, but his recklessness has really been paid off this year. I don't know. And they lose Diggs, and somehow he gets just a little bit better. Also, what is that Josh Allen picture? I'm just seeing it now. Because my other monitor has my stream up and it was delayed. It's like, wait, that was not Josh Allen, but it's Josh by a hair. Again, we just have to have JJ last by default. Will Levis or Aiden O'Connell? Will go Levis. But anyways, to get to your question mile marker, what would it take for Goff to have him rise in my eyes? More near perfect games, never throwing multiple interceptions again, running faster. No, I get it, right? And it can feel like Goff is on like an unfair standard and stuff, right? I still think like those weaknesses that have maybe plagued Goff throughout his career exist. And I'm not saying this, like, again, this is me being nitpicky, right? Because, like, you have to be nitpicky to separate some of these guys, right? Goff behind a worse offensive line would probably not be quite as good. I still think he'd absolutely be playable and good. And like, he might end up at like 9 on this list, which is crazy because I would not have had Goff at 9 even like 2 months ago. But Detroit QB syndrome. Fair. No, but I think like what Detroit has done, right, is they've been able to mitigate his weakness better than any team in the league possibly could, right? Best offensive line in football, amazing weapons against the blitz, right? Like Goff's big thing still, like, if you pressure him, if you move him off his spot, things can get hairy. And they've been a little less hairy this year. Like, I will give you that. Like, every once in a while, Goff will scramble for like 5 yards. And it's like, whoa, like, okay. Oh, Goff hit a throw while like his feet weren't set. Okay, right? But I just think like that, he never has to deal with that now, right? Because you can't beat this Lions line rushing 4, and you can't get to Goff by blitzing. Because if you blitz, oh, there goes Jahmyr Gibbs for 20 yards, right? And I know it's so stupid to like single out one game because every quarterback has bad games, right? But you think about that Texans game. Like Houston is one of the very few teams in the league that actually has the dudes that like you can get pressure on the quarterback without blitzing, because that's what you have to do. Like that's legitimately the only way you can slow this Lions offense down. And good luck getting pressure without blitzing against this line, right? But with Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter, although I think Will Anderson wasn't even playing in that game, but Houston actually got pressure rushing 4, and he threw 5 picks. Again, it's one game. You don't want to be too harsh on him because like that's just so unfair, right? But I do think like on almost any other team in the league, you won't see more 5 interception games, but you'd see a lot fewer perfect games or near perfect games, if that makes sense. You know, I think that's fair to say. The Bucs did get him a little bit, you know, yeah. Again, that's harsh and nitpicky, but that's what keeps him out of like the Josh Allen tier. But he might be like QB 9, you know. 9 is very good. And 9 plus that sick offense, yeah. No wonder the Lions are 14-2, right? Starting Pro Bowl quarterback. Levis or Winston? I guess Winston. He's slightly more entertaining. Winston or Locke? We'll go Winston. Winston or Fields? Winston can throw the ball a little bit better. Winston or Rodgers? We'll go Rodgers. We'll go Rodgers over Penix and Carr. And Richardson and Young. He's rising up a little bit. We'll go Tua over Rodgers, though. We're speeding through it just a little bit now. Talking about some Josh Allen fantasy implications. No, I can see like Josh Allen carry job in fantasy. Yeah, Laywell leans Josh there. It's a good debate, though. It's a very good debate. You could make a good case on either side. But Tua or Russ, we'll go Tua. Tua or Knicks. Ooh, very similar players. Similar caliber, I should say. I'll go Tua by a hair. Tua or Caleb. See, that's crazy. If I'm going to do Caleb over Knicks, but then, no, we'll go Caleb over Tua. Caleb might be coming in a little high. We'll see. Hurts or Darnold? Dare I say Darnold? I did not know that, Sebastian. Really? Goff helped design the Lions offense. I believe it, right? I mean, it's tailor-made for him. It's perfect, right? Hey, who cares? The system is sick, right? The system is sick. He is the system. That's a bar right there. He is. I feel like having Jared Goff as like the 9th best quarterback in the NFL, like around there. That's fair though, right? There's a lot of really good quarterbacks in the league. Hurts or Darnold? Oh, brother. Save me for what I'm about to do. Oh, no. I'm doing Darnold over Purdy, too. I will go May. There's no way I go May over Darnold, right? Dog, May's going to end up at like 14 on this list. May's going to... If the Vikings somehow drafted Drake May, do I think they'd be as good of a team as they are right now? That's the question it comes down to, right? Do I think they'd be as good of a team right now if they had Drake May instead of Sam Darnold? Yeah, I actually do. Drake May is coming in pretty hot here. Ah, brother. Lawrence or May? Lawrence. I don't feel good about that one, though. I don't feel great about that one. I might go Kyler over Trevor. I think I will. We'll go Dak over Kyler. Baker or Dak? Ooh, Baker or Dak? I lean Dak. Dak or Daniels? Jaden Daniels. Never thought I'd do that. Never thought I'd do that. Give me Jaden Daniels. Is he the best quarterback in that division? I mean, I just ranked him that. Yeah. Goff or Daniels? We'll go Goff. There you go. Goff or Smith? This is going to be insane. I am going to go Geno over Goff. Oh my goodness. Geno's going to be at like 8. I don't disagree with that a lot, though. For a Vikings fan, I'm quite low on Darnold. He has very similar stats to Baker this year. You know, I will say, that's funny. You think, I don't know. That's fair. He's an aggressive quarterback, and I like his aggression. Like, it gets rewarded. He has been pretty good, though, hasn't he? Maybe I don't know. Maybe I am just slightly. We'll see. I don't know. I'm curious where he ends up. We'll go Stroud over Geno. Not by a lot, though. And we'll go Love over Stroud. Love or Stafford? Stafford. We'll go Mahomes, though. See, here's the thing. I would still, personally, I would still probably have Mahomes at 3. Yes, I'm going to take Mahomes over Burrow. And that might be slightly spicy. And I think it's like, you can have a conversation. I still think when it's all said and done, though, here's my Mahomes thing. The stats have not been pretty this year, although I say that. Honestly, Mahomes has actually kind of been on a heater recently. Like, Mahomes is playing his best football right now. And this Chiefs offense, man, I don't know. They just kind of carved up a good Steelers defense, right? Like, he's kind of been turning in some good performances. That Browns game wasn't great, but it's like, for all this about being Mahomes' worst season ever, right? Like, well, I guess, okay, he's going to sit the final game. He would have got to 4,000 yards. He would have flirted with 30 touchdowns, right? Like, I still think all the things that make him special are there. They just play in such a weird offense that, it's just so different from what they were in 2018. But, and he hasn't been quite as good in the pocket. And I will say, his deep accuracy hasn't been quite as good as you'd think this year. Like, they've tried to bring the deep ball back. A lot of that is like defenses just won't let him. I won't lie. He's missed some throws this year. Like, he's missed a few to Worthy, right? But, dude, I don't know. Like, you think about, that throw he hit to Justin Watson, was that against the Steelers last week, right? Like, you think about how good he's become as a scrambler. You think about how, he still statistically is, the best quarterback in the league on third down. And again, with the way the Chiefs run their offense, right? It's always 3rd and 4, and Mahomes always gets it. He's such a killer at those boring 3rd and 4s. He just rolls out, and he'll either scramble for 5 yards or he just poop, over the head of the linebacker to Kelsey, right? You're right, Laywell. When you need him to come through, he still will. It's not always flashy. It's not always pretty, but it works. It's effective, and they're starting to turn it on a little bit. I don't know. He's playing his best football right now. He's hyper efficient. This Chiefs offense is pretty good. They have 15 wins. They're coming off back-to-back Super Bowls, and they're heating up. I don't know. I will go Lamar over Mahomes, though. Here's what I'll say, right? Because Mahomes has started to enter the GOAT conversation a little bit. And, there's a lot to be excited about, how insane of a career he could have. Here's what I'll say. Tom Brady was not the best quarterback in the NFL every single season, right? What really made him great was he was consistently top 3, and there was plenty of years where he was the best quarterback in the NFL. But Tom Brady was not QB1 every year, right? There were years where Manning was better or Rodgers was better, right? I think this year, Lamar and Josh have been better. And this is not me saying, it's over for Mahomes. I still think he could turn it on and have another legendary playoff run like he did last year, right? Last year, throughout most of the season, Lamar and Josh were probably a little bit better than Mahomes, but Mahomes was just ridiculous in the playoffs. Could happen again this year. As of right now, though, I honestly think Lamar Jackson is a slightly better quarterback. And maybe, come February, Mahomes will be in the Super Bowl again. But give me Lamar. Here it is. Here it is. Here's the final rankings. All right, let's run through this real quick. We've got it. Number 1, Josh Allen. All right, fair enough. I think that's what I was expecting going into this. I'm not surprised by what I'm looking at for like my top 5, I would say. 1, we've got Josh. 2, we've got Lamar. 3, Mahomes. 4, Burrow. 5, Herbert. 6, Stafford. 7, Love. Yeah, that's legit. 8, CJ Stroud. 9, Geno Smith. 10, Jared Goff. Daniels at 11. Dak 12, Baker 13, Kyler 14, Trevor 15, Drake May 16, Darnold 17, Brock Purdy 18, Hurts 19, Caleb 20, Tua 21, Bo Nix 22, Russell Wilson 23, Aaron Rodgers 24, Bryce Young 25, Anthony Richardson 26, Derek Carr 27, Penix 28, Winston 29, Justin Fields 30, Drew Lock 31, Will Levis 32, AOC 33, and JJ 34. All right, we're going to screenshot this. We might post this on the Twitter machine later. Just fun little receipt, right? And here's what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to screenshot it, and I'm going to drag it over to my desktop so it'll actually save, because sometimes screenshots get a little funky. And we've got chat reacting here, as always, right? First, we'll get to Sebastian saying, Doc, there are people saying Mahomes was a Bieniemy merchant. Thoughts? I still think he's good, but he wouldn't have the rep he does now without the otherworldly stats under Bieniemy. I don't know, man. I think it was a different time, right? Defenses played a lot different even back in like 2018 and 2019 than they do now. And having Tyreek Hill certainly helped, and having peak Travis Kelce certainly helped. And there was less film on him, right? Like, all of that culminated in like some of the most ridiculous statistical seasons that we've ever seen at the quarterback position. You know, I don't know how much of it has to do with Bieniemy versus, it could be some of it maybe, and maybe Matt Nagy has done him no favors. But it's not like Bieniemy was calling the plays either, right? It was Andy Reid, but a lot of people don't like Geno Smith being at 9. I get it. Geno, he's a controversial player. Yeah, I get it. Very, very differing opinion. Maybe I'm too high on him. I get it. I am definitely on the high end of Geno enjoyers. That's what I'll say. 9 might be rich. I understand that. I think he's a great quarterback. I really do. But I get it. He's over Baker, right? He's over Daniels. He's over Goff. Like, he's over some big names. I can understand how that would be controversial. Jalen Hurts being done dirty at 19? Yeah, I mean, you could argue maybe him over Purdy. You could try and like throw him into like 15, 16. A lot of it is just tough though, right? Like, there's just a lot of good quarterbacks. Goff may be better than some of these guys. You could make the case. I don't hate that by any means, right? And I think like I would say tier 1 would be these 3 guys. If you want to order these 3 guys in any way, I don't hate that. Tier 2, probably Burrow, Herbert, Stafford. Tier 3, Love, Stroud, Geno. This would be my personal tier. Love, Stroud, Geno Smith, Jared Goff. I feel like they're in a similar range. Maybe you want to throw Daniels in there, you can. Tier 4, maybe. I don't know. I mean, it could spend all day doing tiers and stuff. Darnold lower than you thought. Yeah, you're not the first person to say that. Darnold at 17. I don't know though, man. And again, he's been good. I'm honestly surprised. I thought Darnold might be like here, honestly. I don't know. No. You agree with the top 5? Laywall likes it. Okay, there we go, right? Yeah, you can't please everyone. Understandable. But if you even compare him now to 2021 and 2022, no, that's fair. I would say 2022 is maybe his best season. Yeah. He has not fully been himself, And it's crazy. Like, I'm Mr. Mahomes and I have him at 3, as if I have dibs on Patrick Mahomes or something. But that was the QB quiz. We've got the screenshot. It's 10:23. Let's do the Sporcle quiz. Shout out Caden for being kind enough to make a New Year's themed, he says, Sporcle quiz for me. So the quiz master is back at it once again. See if we can pull it up here. I'm sorry, Sporcle. I love you, but nah, we're not turning off the ad blocker. Parachamp thinks that Herbert's too high. I can see that, right? Maybe the stats aren't quite there. And I will say, like, he has been a little inconsistent, like, especially like last year. Last year, I don't think he played like a top 5 quarterback, but here we go. It's Kadarius Toney. Let's go. So what is this? New year, new me. The page turn of a new calendar often presents itself as an opportunity for a fresh start. And for these players, that opportunity was given to them in the form of a position change. Oh, this is sick. This is sick. Match the description that fits with the player. We've got 10 questions. This is sick. Oh my goodness. Chaz Surratt, that's a quarterback. I already know that off the top of my head. That's a Viking right there. All right. Richard Sherman's a wide receiver. I don't know Bobby Mitchell off the top of my head. This is sick. All right. We just got to match these guys up. All right. As the only defensive player to win Heisman on the defensive side of the ball, this player had enough talent to be an all-pro at either position, made the small switch from corner to safety, filling the void of an injured starter at the time on his team. That's Charles Woodson, because he played a little bit of wide receiver in college too, right? So did Ryan Tannehill. All right. Super senior, mediocre. Oh, great reference right there. Mediocre wide receiver for Richard Sherman. Well done. Well done. Oh, the ball drop for Kadarius Toney. That's genius. All right. Oh, that's genius. All right. So we can lock that in, right? And then we can lock in Charles Woodson. Caleb Farley. That's a name. Holy crap. Okay. Let's see. College QB, 7,000 something. Oh, is this Chaz Surratt maybe? Is this Chaz Surratt? We'll put him here for now. We can unlock it later, right? Yeah, okay. Once drafted to be Jim Brown's speedy complement, switched to flanker. Oh, man. That's going to be one of the old dudes. Okay. Slightly above average wide receiver at Texas A&M, before switching sides to the one throwing the ball to the receivers where he found most success. Oh, yeah, that's Ryan Tannehill. Bang. Antoine Randall L. is a quarterback too, right? Antoine Randall L. If you know, you know. I forgot which college it was that he did that for. Mitch Trubisky's successor. Oh, was that Chaz Surratt? Because he went to he went to UNC. I know this because the Vikings drafted him. And also, if you know, you know. The Boom or Bust show. Boom or Bust the draft show. They loved Chaz Surratt. Man, shout out Boom or Bust the draft show. If you know, you know. That was an era right there. All right. Tannehill and Serm swapped perfectly. Oh. Julian Edelman was a quarterback at Kent State, right? Single season total offensive yards, rushing yards of senior season. Wow, he was a quarterback though. So Herb Adderley is an old head name, yeah. Was he that old though? I don't remember. Running the ball was the name of the game. Someone say this player played a humble Blarnold-esque role. Blarnold mentioned. Okay, some of these older guys are going to be tough. We should probably figure out Antoine Randall L. and Julian Edelman. First, sneak into the first round at corner. Was that Caleb Farley? He did get drafted in the back end of the first round. Oh, wait. This is Julian Edelman. Or is it Antoine Randall L? I think that might be, because Antoine Randall L played corner too. This one is kind of tough. Oh, this one is kind of tough. Okay. Several records at the respective school. Goodness. Okay, so we know it's not Caleb Farley because he went to Virginia Tech. Otto Graham. Okay, that's got to be like Charlie Taylor, right? Otto Graham. I mean, come on. We'll lock that in. If we switch it, we can. Herb Adderley might be the defensive back. We'll just do that, I guess. I might screw some of these up. Bobby Mitchell maybe for this one. This one's kind of challenging. Running back to corner. Becoming one of the arguably one of the greatest corners in NFL history. Well, Herb Adderley is like a Hall of Famer, isn't he? Yeah. So we'll put him here. I remember reading about him in the Sports Illustrated football book. Does that mean Caleb Farley is here? Yeah. I think he did play receiver. We'll see. I might screw the pooch on this one a little bit, but I'm liking the challenge. Seems like a dude. Oh, Herb Adderley. I know he was from like I think he was maybe a little bit after Jim Brown. I want to say like 70s for some reason. Well, Bobby Mitchell's got to be the flanker, right? Antoine Randall L. Well, no, Julian Edelman played in the MAC though, right? Yeah. We'll lock in this. Because the Steelers did a lot of trick plays with Antoine Randall L. Bang! Bang! Yeah, let's go. Let's go. That's a 10 out of 10. That was a good quiz. Shout out Caden, the quiz master. Let's go. Let's go. All right. That was fun. That was fun. So we got one more piece of business to take care of here. As has been talked about earlier, I have indeed started a Discord. I'm logged in on the wrong Discord right now. Hold on. This is my... That is not me. Switch accounts here. Let's go to the Dr. Pigskin account. Yes. I will drop a link in here right now. Let's see if I can get this invite going. But I have made a Discord server. I thought this could be pretty fun, right? Let's go to it. You guys are more than welcome to join the Dr. Pigskin family Discord. We've got some people in here already. We got Darius Garland fan, and that's got to be Pear Champ right there. Pear Pog Champ. Let's go. Yeah. If y'all are into this kind of thing, if y'all have Discord, go ahead and join this. Here's what I'll say. This is going to be a learning experience for me. I've never run a Discord before outside of like playing Xbox with the fellas, right? But I thought this would be a fun little chat that we can just post stuff like this and just talk ball and hang out, right? I'll make some announcements in here, right? So you guys will get first crack at when I'm going to go live and stuff like that. And maybe like I'll post my streaming schedule for the week and stuff like that. And when I'm working on my next video, fun stuff like that, right? Little Dr. Pigskin insider scoops, right? Suggestions and feedback. Maybe you want to say, oh, nice job with the video. Or, oh, you were just a little too close to the camera and you made us uncomfortable, right? Or oh, that joke didn't hit the way you thought it would. Or, oh, that was a good joke, right? Stuff like that, right? Open communication, transparency. This I just made to mess with Jack. I'll probably put a Shane Waldron meme in here every once in a while, right? But I will drop the link in this. Laywell says he's been waiting for something like this. Well, let's go. I'm trying to build this community, right? I enjoy just hanging out, talking football, talking about everything with you fellas. So I thought that this would be pretty fun. Look at that. Caden's welcoming everyone already. But here we go. Let's stop beating around the bush. Let's see if I can invite people. I'll drop the invite link in chat. I'll probably put a community post or something too. And if you go check my link tree, which should be in my bio, there should be an invite link in there too. This is a community server, so it should be able to, the invite link should be able to just stay going. But again, this is a learning experience. I'm going to figure things out as we go, but now is the time, man. I'm excited to do this. I'm glad to see that people are excited about this. This makes me happy. So we're going to do this. And I'm going to try and get into short form content a little bit too. I don't know. I'm going to finally do it. I've been flirting with it for a while. I've got some fun ideas. Don't worry. The videos aren't going anywhere too. As we wrap up, I'm going to go to the main camera now that we've got the Discord plugged. I just want to say, man, 2025, right? New year. I had this little community post and I gave this nice sentimental thing, but I really do mean that all the support that I've gotten in the past year, all these new faces and old faces that have come in and supported me really has meant so much to me. I truly have so much fun doing this, and I won't lie, it's been a challenging year. It's been a lot to balance my first ever full-time job with this too, but I've learned a lot along the way. And every year, man, I'm just trying to get a little bit better. I really think that we're building something special here, and I'm excited to see what this new year brings us. And here's one of the next steps, man. So let's do this. Let's ride. 2025 is here. Let's go make this a great year, man. Let's go make this a great year. That's all I've got for today, man. New video is out. Go check it out if you haven't seen it already. Go check out the Discord if you're into that kind of thing. What else is there to say, man? Happy New Year. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Had a lot of fun today. Let's keep this good vibes rocking and rolling all year long. Until next time. won't be very long. We'll see you on Sunday night, when we go to war for the North. But until then, take care. Have some fun. Have a good weekend. The doctor's out.